you guys?
Who are you, dude?
You're metal, dude.
Dudes.
Deliberating. Delivering. Delivering.
Dogfish.
Deliberating.
Dogfish. I'm the dude.
One minute, dude.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
You're a lying dogfish pony soldier. You said you were, but now you gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Who are you guys?
Who are you, dude?
And there we are.
Hey, I'm just trying to buy my pre-sale ticket, but I don't have a City Card membership. I'm trying to get a Cardi B Little Miss Drama Tour pre-sale ticket so I can get the ticket to buy the ticket to go to the show.
Okay, is that how that works now?
I think so, through
You have
Live
to
Nation.
buy a ticket?
Well, that's after I do my student loan refinance through these guys that I learned about at in a Utah event.
Okay.
Steve, I compromised with her. I moved the camera.
There it is.
Cat's like, nah, we ain't doing it.
She's like, I'll just sit right back here again. Move me.
Looks like half an Ewok.
Just trying to Eurify or Eurify, YREF. Did you see that on the back of the scene? There was an advertisement for a company that I don't think anyone's looked into. What do those guys do over there?
Eurify?
Eurify or Eurify?
Eurify?
Yeah. It's sponsored by a Larry Elder. I don't know if you guys know Larry Elder.
Isn't that where they take beans that have already been cooked and then they urify them again?
I think so.
Right. Right.
A Lot Like Me, A Father and Son's Journey to Reconciliation by Larry Elder, who is a spokesman for Eurify, YREFY.
Cardi B is Christian hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was Marcus's take also.
Are you gonna get your hair and nails did before you go to the Cardi B show?
If I can put on my City Card, I can finance it.
All right. Well, yeah.
Coherence. How's it going?
Make sure you connect with Larry Elder for sure. He'll put you on the right.
We had a good week last week. How
did you think you did?
The stating we had a debate this week when I already knew that Steve is the worst booker on the planet and that he has maintained a perfect goose egg, which is actually kind of shocking. You should like like this motherfucker's over here playing hearts or something.
I have a perfect score. Thank you very much.
He's like, I took the nail. You guys
Plays
didn't
a
know,
full
but I
deck.
took the nail.
You play Crazy Eights with that deck?
I'm just sharking.
Okay.
But
Go fish.
fortunately, the world has decided to provide much to talk about. And our good friend and captain of the good ship Weaving Spiders will be joining us here just shortly after he gets done putting the little baby maiden to sleep.
Good deal.
He says,
why is Scott Adams on Tucker Carlson's show talking about the newly dispatched Charlie Kirk? Vax Adams, Mr. Dilbert.
I don't know. Why are they
announced he had 2 months to live 5 months ago.
He's beating the odds, beating all
He
the odds.
is, man. God bless him. He's doing great.
If I were a
Why are
betting
they
man
making
and
a
Steve
massive
wasn't my
push
bookie,
why are they making a massive push to censor speech built off the death of a guy that really went out of his way to promote free speech?
that's interesting.
It's it's almost like either elements within the state or a foreign state orchestrated events in order to achieve a goal that they would not have ordinarily achieved had they tried to push it through legislative means. But golly, that's only happened in America every couple of years, so that would be very out of character.
Well, Steve, I don't even know if they need to do that, because 250 legislatures went ahead and voted their vote of "we are loyal to Israel" out in the open in front of every fucking buddy, like this is a good thing. They didn't notice that this is not Israel, apparently.
Well, what do they say, Ben, when you're standing on stolen land? It turns out the Greater Israel Project included Washington D.C. It's golly,
50 states, one Israel.
Has there ever been a 50 states, one Japan?
I don't know. It's New York Fashion Week, isn't it?
50 states, one Belgium.
I like Tommy Cor's.
If you were going to do it, Belgium is the place to do it with. A Belgian, I mean, they got the best chocolate, they got the best beer. The food isn't the greatest. It's still, they're Germans, so I mean, it's still mostly just grinding it up and and stuffing it into a fucking pig intestine or some kind of intestine.
Right.
Right. Actually, that shit's horseshit. Like, I was over in Germany for quite some time, and the over there, they're serious about what they're jamming in them intestines. Like that. That shit is delicious. I'm a vegetarian now, but I wasn't then, and wow, that stuff was good.
It's the last day of New York Fashion Week. You guys have a favorite designer?
Did they let you in?
I believe his name is Pierre Carhartt.
Carhartt. Okay.
I don't know, man. If they boycotted Kanye and his designs, I am boycotting Fashion Week. In fact, this entire week, instead of being in New York for Fashion Week, I have been literally on the opposite side of the country. The exact, like, you by the water even.
Makes sense.
Totally different ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because no yay, no me. That's how it goes in the fashion world.
I'm reminded of the crazy aunt fashion around Christmas time, where one exposed nipple would be Rudolph's red nose. Do you remember that one? There's still some Etsy listings if you want to get in on that.
I'll
crazy
pass on
fashion.
That. Yeah,
it's like an ugly sweater.
Believe it or not, I don't keep up with the fashion world as much as what you would suspect that I would from looking at me.
It's all right. Just thinking, Christmas is fast.
Yeah, my wife just said from the background, it's one of her great disappointments. I am,
Got to get your Etsy orders in early. There are a lot of handcrafted gifts that are being put together.
It's not even October. Come on.
Well, it's Halloween, then it's Christmas. These things happen so quickly.
I understand we're,
I'm processing my grief. I thought we'd have a lot more time with Charlie Kirk to make fun of him while he was still alive. Now he's not alive, and now it's maybe not so much fun to make fun of him anymore. A lot of people
already being canonized.
In the last few days, a lot of people grew a heart that they didn't have. and express a lot of love for a man they didn't express love for before.
Or a lot of severe hate.
Yeah.
Like wild amounts of crazy hate.
Deranged, psychotic,
Yeah.
bro, log off, take your shoes off and put them in some dirt and just sit there for a little bit. Guy, hate.
Yeah. Like you're out there dancing around over some dude's death that wasn't even a politician, not even a lawmaker. He just talked and was actually pretty reasonable to have a dialogue with. You might not have liked what he was saying, but his patience was wild in mine. And I speak for Steve on this. Steve's view also. like Steve and I would have fucking started fucking 6 different fucking six different fist fights. You know, like 10 minutes into what that dude will put up with.
I'll grant that, yeah. Well, and that's what, you know, at least people that like knew him and people that were in the same, you know, sphere as that guy have all said he was the moderate. There were a bunch of people that referred to him as like a degree away from the most center of the line Democrat. You know, they're like 2 degrees away from each other. And I mean,
Now, he's left of a 90s Democrat. He's left of that.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Especially if you heard him, you know, answer a question about like gays in the Republican Party. I don't know too many racists that call every child that they see beautiful, regardless of what color they are or where they came from or what their parents looked like. You know, Chris Rock famously did a bit on it. You can go look that up on your own. But like, woo, you know, yes, he was a Republican Party political operative, and you can disagree with so much of that. Yes, TPUSA was funded up to the gills by very wealthy Zionists who were pushing the interests of the Israeli state. Yes, 100%. $140 million a year organization that, you know, handled around $500 million in capital. There's a lot of rich, you know, Zionist and Christian Zionist money in there. 100%. Nobody's saying, like, there are a lot of people that are trying to, like, again, canonize the dude and whatever. It's not ignoring any of that, you know, but there's report after report after report, along with on-camera conversation on top of on-camera conversation on top of on-camera conversation, where in public and in private, people that knew him and people that were interviewing him watched him start to pivot on being heavily influenced by Zionists, to the point to where he refused $150 million from Netanyahu personally.
Which is similar to being refusing the king. Like, you don't refuse their offer. That wasn't really an offer. That was, you're going to do this and we're going to pay you this much for having done it. There's really not supposed to be a yes or no involved here.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. If people were describing this bullet going through a man as a Pearl Harbor event, and then the way that people have reacted to this as if it's their first public, can we say the word assassination?
That is definitely why this is such a polarizing event, except for us, short window of Gen Xers who got exposed to faces of death. In between Kennedy
lots of
now-
millennials grew up with Rotten.com and a bunch of other places, and it was all that and 4chan and things like. It's not like since the dawn of the internet, there hasn't been unlimited exposure to the most heinous shit anyone could lay eyes on.
Yeah, but you've got to look it up. Like nobody asked to watch Faces of fucking Death. Some asshole showed up at your house
It
and
did.
was like, I am traumatized for life, and now you will join me. Watch. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh God,
Fair.
why?
That is kind of how it happened. It was your house or your homeboy's house.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got sat down and forced into this. Like
Yeah, there
like
was
he's
usually
doing
an
a-
older kid involved.
Yeah, he's got you in like a fucking rear naked. Like your last before you black out, your last fucking vision is some fucking Asian guy cutting open a little puppy while it's wiggling. You're like, oh God,
Yeah.
no.
And they made like 5 of those.
So
They're
we're
like,
talking
"No,
about a
we'll just keep
process
bringing
of
them out.
I have a
If we didn't
mechanic.
get you with Never Ending Story, we're getting you with this in 3 years, bitch. Just
So-
wait.
I am as greasy backyard mechanic as it gets. Like my buddy was making when I was rebuilding the rear end of my truck. He's like, well, at least you got a piece of plywood down. Like, and I will not take blocks and block my truck up just because on Faces of Death, there was one of them where the guy that he had the wheel off and the brake rotor went right through his leg, but not quite enough for him to get away.
Yep.
Like there's a little flap at the bottom that he couldn't quite get off, and that dude was pinned under that car with his leg just sawed. And I'm like, and that stuck in my head to this day. As soon as that tire comes off, that image pops into my brain.
Yup.
so we're learning to calibrate our sensitivity in real time here. Some people are finding they've been oversensitized, and people have been under desensitized. So they're trying to find out what is the appropriate amount of sensitivity around these sort of grim images.
Also, he had much greater access to the younger crowd, which is much more dramatic about shit.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have enough life experience to really, temper that. So what we had here where like JFK, things like that, the older crowds that are more into politics are going to be 2 girls, 1 cup. Yeah. Like every guy in the world at that point was like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't see anything from Naked Girl. Maybe not. Before that, you couldn't have convinced a guy that he would have.
Oh shit! There are bad ideas. Wow. Maybe you can really make a bad choice. Let me reflect on some other shit for a little bit now while I don't get on the internet for a month. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
Like you thought you were going to be rubbing one out to that, and instead you're like, "Do I need Viagra now?"
Listen, me and you are gonna have a talk later, and it's okay, buddy. I promise, it's okay. We'll get
That
through this.
Like worse than that time that you got a hard on during math class while the math teacher was doing algebra problems. You're like, sorry about this one, bro. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, I know what was going on. I remember her name. Not the math teacher, by the way. Although I do remember, one of my math teachers was my aunt's college roommate, and she was a complete and total fucking moron. She was an idiot. Like, we knew when we got into the school that every kid in the school called her Miss Airhead. She had a name that was similar, but also she was a fucking just dumb as a bag of hammers, boy. And teaching algebra, just
And algebra was
It's a brand of taffy candy, those Airheads.
like basic algebra is so fucking easy. It's not even funny. Like I slept through algebra. The year that I had to take algebra, it was my junior year, and Diane was already pregnant, You know, I was already punching out kids because, you know, I'm a dumb shit. And so I was
It
working.
didn't used to be
overnight.
custard pies. It used to be cream pies.
Yeah. I used to, so I had to work overnights because I paid for my own kid. So I had to work overnights, and I'd get off at 6, you know, 6:30, and then go home, and you had to be back to school at 8. So I'd take like an hour nap and then get up and go to school. And I'd just go into algebra class and just go to sleep. And the way ours was set up was it was 100% on the test or 95% or something on the test. It didn't, so I just didn't do homework, and then I'd wake up long enough to take the test and go back to sleep. And she thought I was cheating so bad that she made up a test just for me. And she's like, "You got up, took the test, laid back down, went to sleep, and still got 100." Like, well, this is not hard.
Yeah.
I have a little math to run by you. October 14th is a date of birth for two figures you might be familiar with. And have we confirmed that the October 14th date?
The
Yeah.
square and the triangle.
The Charlie Kirk and the George Floyd both born on an October 14th. One in
Correct.
1993 and one in 1973. But then
One an extraordinarily tall white guy who was
Yeah.
very wealthy and conservative. One a black porn star who enjoyed fentanyl and
Also very tall though.
yeah, very tall also.
appeared to
yeah.
be tall. Yeah,
Yeah.
tall of stature. Not a,
Uh,
I don't know if he was
Greta-
6'5", like Charlie Kirk was freakishly tall.
Greta Thunberg and Kyle Rittenhouse
yes,
also have the
Born-
same birthday.
born in 2003 on January 3rd.
Yeah.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
I know we talked about that, I think, on a Spiders episode before.
They should have weepy retarded babies together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been on a lot of boats. See, Greta.
They have at least 6 kids. One of them's bound to be a good shot.
Mm-hmm. So
I was on the lower end of A's when I was in South Dakota, and then when I went to Richfield, Minnesota, which is the first city south of Minneapolis, I was 20th out of like 580 kids, and my grades were so high. Like, they really are dumb in the big cities. Of course, they are that way in South Dakota now too, because I pulled my kids out of school and homeschooled them because the quality of schooling just went to shit there too. But at one point in time, it was really high quality, and we had tiny classes because back then you can see where the move to major cities, everybody moving to major cities, has been happening since I was a little kid. Because there used to be every town had basically their own school, and then all them schools closed down and moved to a centralized school, and then even half of those closed down and joined up with another school. Like the town where I lived, there's Barnard, and even my kids went to Barnard, and then Barnard became part of Frederick, and then Frederick became Elm Valley, and then Elm Valley joined up with another school just so they could put enough kids to play sports and shit like that. So this has been happening for a very long time.
Yeah. The not too long after I moved out of my hometown, they started doing the school consolidation thing.
Auto
Sure.
hoaxers, huh?
Was there a birth dearth at some point where there was just a lot of babies and there was fewer babies?
We got called auto hoaxers. That's hilarious. You know,
Oh.
I gotta say, in all honesty, and I am a vegetarian, and I'm not. I don't enjoy shooting things, but I can honestly say that I've probably shot more things than most people have ever dreamt about, and that was pretty fucking real in my book. And I've seen it a whole lot. In fact, I just shot a fox last week. I might have to end up shooting a damn bear because you don't leave us the fuck alone. Some bitch and bear. He was on top of my chicken coop like 3 nights ago. On top of it.
Is he
Licky had
hopping
a
it?
kid up there. Licky was pissed.
Is there honey inside?
No, there's chickens inside. They like chickens.
Bears eat chickens?
You damn straight. Oh, we're not the auto hoaxers. Thank you.
Well, we were talking a little bit about the young people having to experience this, and then going to school. It was very reminiscent of the 9/11 event in New York when there was a lot of students in school, and that entire day was just sitting watching CNN and Fox News and just flipping between channels to figure out, well, what's going on in New York
Like
City.
if there's not actual dead people, where's the energy for the magic coming in to do the thing? Anyways, I agree that it's all just a spell or a
It's a
ritual
loose harvest.
to get a loose harvest. Well, but you
Mhm.
need a trigger point. So I don't understand those people that always think everything is fake. I agree with the auto hoaxing. Oh, it's all fake. No, and if you think the government gives two shits about one person dying, even if he had a big following on the internet, you are highly mistaken. They could care less about any of us dying. Any of us.
Well, it brought up a lot of the youth culture that some people just weren't paying attention to. Like, what is a groiper, and how do you explain to your parents and grandparents what groipers are? It doesn't
Well,
sound
there's
as bad.
gay Mexican
Cat
named
boy?
Nick Fuentes.
Catholic. Fuentes.
Like I said,
Why does it seem so much like groiper and timid grappler are related?
There's some etymology there to look into further.
you're not a
certainly.
groper. That's creepy.
Groiper. Groiper.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you like
a strange place.
You like how the left has completely made up this whole image of this kid. He's a groiper, and even though there's no
Mhm.
evidence of this whatsoever.
I like
And-
how ChatGPT wrote his confession text. That was
Nice.
that was interesting.
Nice.
Oh.
I'm going to get into all of that tomorrow on an AM Wake Up. I'm going to read them in character voice. I haven't decided if it's going to be like, Southern soldier writing a love letter home. I haven't decided if I'm going that route or if I'm going like upper crust British, but we're going to find a lane. We're going to find a lane and I'm going to go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And an auto hoaxer is the folks that no matter what happens, everything is apparently they believe that the government and the people in charge have unlimited power, and that everything that's ever happened that's bad in the world was them doing a fake thing. Every person that's ever been assassinated or anything like that is living on an island somewhere, drinking Mai Tais and getting blowjobs. Nothing ever actually happens in the world.
Yeah. Everyone's an actor. No, all the dudes are chicks. All the chicks are dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in Hollywood is reverse gender.
It's an easy content
Everybody.
mill. It's so easy to mill out that content when everything is fake and gay and not real, and then you just present
Yeah.
that. And then that's a consistent worldview where everything is just fake and gay and inverse and not real. And then to be led around by a groiper who's 27 years old, kind of embarrassing.
And apparently these guys are too new in the conspiracy world, when we all know the whole reason guys like Alex Jones make such a big splash is because he says a lot of true things and then veers you off into bullshit. But he's got to catch you with the good stuff. Like there's no such thing as any large speaker or large public figure that gave speeches and things like that didn't say mostly truth and mostly good stuff. And it's just that other percentage is where things really get wonky.
Yep.
It's where it gets real interesting.
It's the whole ass definition of a limited hangout. And I mean that whole thing, to me, it's designed to make people focus on entirely that and none of the real shit that's happening as a result of it. And the real shit that's happening as a result of it is every quote unquote leftist group online is, up for being investigated. There's the White House, not the DOJ or anything like that. The White House is claiming that they need to interject $60 million into law enforcement to go after groups who they claim had like foreknowledge of the event and stuff like that.
This is federal. This is federal. I know this is a thing that a lot of people don't understand, but 90% of your convictions and things like that come at a state level, and it's a state conviction. This is federal. This is a power that's not really supposed to be flexed in this way.
Yeah, and you can see a very short, straight line to right-wing acceptance of we can't allow the trannies to have guns, which is then going to turn into, well, we can't let this group have guns either because they're degenerate. And then the next president will get into office and they'll be like, well, I don't like you guys, so you guys can't have guns. And within a couple of years, you're all fucking disarmed or being threatened to disarm.
This is literally the very first episode of Steve's original show that I was on. I called for this. That fucking show is banned, by the way. But I called for this. This was back in like what was this? 2018. And Steve asked me what I saw for the political future, and I said the left wing's going to get so wild and crazy that the people in general are going to be crying for the jackboot. They're gonna give it all away just to get the left side, because that side's went so insane, and it's been just like a nightmare watching it happen.
Yep. I saw a fucking it popped up on my Instagram, but it was somebody's Twitter, and I gotta read this shit because it's like it's right. I've said for years that we live in a fucking cartoon, and I can't think of anything better to illustrate the cartoon nature in which we live other than the FBI, which is run by two podcasters, is actively investigating the murder of a third podcaster, while the vice president cosplays as a fourth podcaster to host the show ran by the third podcaster. Welcome to the USA, brought to you by Squarespace, BetterHelp, and ExpressVPN.
And don't forget that the head of the FBI, who is of distinct Dot-head Indian heritage, also the third podcaster who was eliminated, the two of them are going to meet in Valhalla.
I have a theory about this.
This guy was a devout Christian.
I have a theory about this. Before we get into the Q theory about this, I have a personal theory about this. And my theory is that Kash Patel had like worked himself up to that moment. I can't call him Kash Patel anymore. I heard somebody refer to him as Cash App PayPal. And so that's the only thing I'm going to be able to. The Cash App PayPal was working himself up to that moment right before he said, we've got the watch, I'll see you, and he wanted to say Svarda, which is a Hindu heaven. He wanted to say Svarda, and he was going for it, and then at the last second his little hamster kicked in and started spinning the wheel, and he had to just reach for a white boy heaven. And he wasn't sure which one he was going to grasp, but it landed on Valhalla. And he was like, oh, shit, we have a little resort community off a military base called Valhalla that all the Q people have, now jumped on and gone nuts about. And that's where all of the actors go, is Valhalla. It's a specific reference.
That's where the Mai Tais and the blowjobs are.
That's where the Mai Tais and the blowjobs are. Yes, you are correct.
Which would really be as one of Steve's other famous sayings is that 9/11 or irony died in 9/11, and the irony on that one would not be lost, considering Valhalla's actual history or mythology includes a place where you go and all day, every day, you fight to the death, and then afterwards you're brought back to life where you feast and have a good time, and then go back to fighting to the death. So in no way is there Mai Tais and blowjobs. There is
There could be blowjobs, but it's gonna be from a dude.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be real violent about it, because that is where the most Valhalla is for the most violent, war-loving beings. I've talked about it before. Like, I got a cousin Tom who died about 6 months ago. About 7 months ago, Tom was in the bar fighting and getting in trouble for being in fist fights in the bar. Like, up until the day that guy died, he wanted to fight, and there are dudes like that.
Yeah. What Ben's trying to say is that Valhalla may be the only place ever where you'll get a toothier, angrier blowjob than if you're dating Taylor Swift.
That's true.
When's her wedding date, by the way? She had a beautiful ring.
Nobody cares, Martin. Nobody cares.
You will be the only one of us.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Tell us again, and I will forget immediately after you tell me.
You're right. It's all about Cardi B now.
I do know who Taylor Swift is, but it will get tossed into, like, when I was a kid, everybody loved having me on that Trivial Pursuit, except for pop culture. I could never get them fucking answers. They're like, who gives a shit? Butane Lucifer. It's a good name.
We did talk a little bit about Valhalla.
Yeah, it definitely was about him dying in battle. That there, because then immediately the other trope that you're seeing out of the right wing is war, and that and of course, a martyr can only be a martyr if they're dying in the name of their cause. You add that onto they're saying we're at war. They're drumming up the Civil War, something fierce. And this is
along with war on several other fronts all over the fucking planet.
Yeah. And they're drunk. I don't pray for anybody, but I do feel bad for Charlie Kirk's wife. That's a horrifying thing that nobody should have to go through. I think it's awful, and his kids had to watch that. That's just absolutely awful. Right. Yeah, I got all of her 8 tracks. Yeah.
All of her 8 tracks. Those are the underground ones that Alan Jackson solo or Toby Keith solo produced. Only the real Swifties have those. Y'all don't even know.
Can't get them at Target.
No, dude, they had to go to Toby Keith's fucking storage locker. They had to move 18 Garth Brooks murder victims out of the way in order to get to the Taylor Swift 8 tracks.
Sure. If we're talking about martyrs, I do need to bring up Michael Tate again, as he did play the most famous martyr of all in a reception that there's a musical called Hero, where he played the character of Jesus Christ, but in modern times. And it didn't do very well, but he did wear a red shirt and he had a big target on his shirt. Okay. So it was worse than Jesus Christ Superstar. It was worse than any of the musicals that portrayed Christ in a modern setting. It was called Hero, with like an exclamation
point. Trying to come off like Charlie Manson.
Well, they made him black, and that they modernized it.
It's definitely not Charlie Manson then.
No. Different color skin, certainly.
Yeah. Well, and ideology. Charlie, not known to be a big fan of the coloreds. Yeah.
Right.
Well, outside of that, they're going to use them to take over the world. So that way, then in their incompetency, he can take them over and then rule over incompetent people. Sounds great.
So who determines martyr status? Is it universal? Is it just everyone recognizes a martyr when they understand that this
No,
is a martyr?
It's got a pretty universal definition. And I agree that owning libs isn't that impressive. But one thing I did find impressive that Charlie Kirk was doing, and I think this is an angle that nobody's really looked at yet. The college scam is what, trillions of dollars a year? And it's a scam. Like, we all know that kids come out of college, they don't know fuck all. They got a piece of paper and some friends, and now they're going to get made into upper management, even though they don't know fuck all. And we all know that. And we know that 50% of people don't even graduate. And of the 50% left, more than 50% of those don't get a job in the field that they're trained in. So it's an absolute scam. It's a multi-trillion-dollar scam. And he single-handedly had more of an impact on that than anything I've ever seen in modern history. That, you know, you do occasionally see somebody being like, oh, well, trade schools are acceptable too. And then everybody's like, nah. But he was going out and very reasonably and with good statistics, smashing colleges in the lion's den at the fucking college. He's telling all the students, you're getting robbed, that you are part of a pyramid scheme, and chances are you are not one of them top bricks. Like, you know, you are just wasting your fucking money.
The banner behind him, it was from the student loan refinance company.
You got a nose ring in. You're blurry enough. I just now seen that. That's hilarious.
It's part of the value package. We've established this already. And
well, now it's down to a quarter of a Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got a purple bandana on, making it look like he's, oh God, it's danger here.
It's real difficult. Yeah. I'm looking though at the footage of Charlie, you know, rest in peace and all that. And behind him is that banner from Eurify, and I don't know if he was sponsored by this company or if that was just the event that was, you know, maybe they just had that and they reuse it. I don't know. But I'm looking into this company, and they do sell promissory note investment opportunities in the refinance distressed private student loan market. They offer eligible accredited investors access to Regulation D 560 private placement promissory notes, which is a minimum $50,000 investment that will support Eurify's efforts to refinance defaulted private student loans. So they recognize there is money to be made in defaulted private student loan market.
Look at that shit. That's what I'm talking about. Trillions of dollars on debt for nothing. Debt for nothing. You know, half of the people that go to college, you might as well have went to the casino. You're going to walk away with about the same.
Or you can go to trade school, you know, and then 3 years later be making $90,000 in California a year, which is still poverty level, but
sure.
You know.
I mean, there was like something like Cordon Bleu. There were some trade schools in Minnesota which were very questionable. They cost a lot of money, and their job placement rates were very, very low. And they didn't advertise that they found jobs for everybody.
Some of the pay out there right now for some of the trades, I'm like, I don't know. Do I want to go work at a fucking For the Man? I don't know. What are you doing talking about like $150,000 a year to be an electrician? What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, do I want to go fucking go bust hump for 40 hours? You can give me $3,000 a week? What?
Yeah.
Did you check out the ICE incentives first before you go into electricity?
Oh yeah, you get
ICE
$50K up
incentive.
front for being an ICE agent.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to look like Dean Cain. I'm gonna be 50 in like fucking a month. Like, I don't want to look like Dean Cain out there. I'm more spry than Dean Cain, but I walk like Steve. You know, honestly, he limps to the one direction and I limp to the other. So if we walk like in single file, we're like,
Mhm.
Is that
Fair.
Liam Gallagher in One Direction? Is that on the boy pop group One Direction?
no,
Oh,
Marcus
wait,
doesn't.
hang on. I have something for this. I do. Where'd it go? There it is. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they would let us. Steve and I shouldn't be able to get through a metal detector. I don't know if they would ever let either of us in any type of armed forces type things.
I realize that wearing gold chains is a great way to carry wealth with you. And I'm starting with the ring.
You're starting with the ring.
Now, if you
Starting
get
with
into a
the
tough
ring.
situation, just chop off Balderson's leg and then reassemble the metal in it for your rifle. I mean, that's like where we're at. Yeah.
Good. If you take the shoulder plate out, that is a vicious weapon. That thing's got titanium spikes like all through it. You could like put that on the end of the big old long rod down there, and you could. That is a freaking club from hell.
Heck yeah.
I might do that to myself if things get bad enough. I'll take my own arm off and beat you with it.
Are we still talking about the zombie apocalypse survival plans? Is that still something people discuss?
Oh, dude, you remember when you legit were middle class if you made over 100,000 a year. You were like upper middle class. And 100%, I thought that was rich from where I was from. That was like wild money. I knew people with that kind of money. They had like second living rooms where you couldn't touch anything in it. You're like, what the fuck's the point to having it? I knew these one people, and they literally had a living room and all the furniture in it was like black lacquered and like fancy leather back when people liked the leather that made you stick to it. They hadn't come out with micro leather yet.
Oh, sticky leather.
And freaking the whole room just was like shiny and black, and you couldn't even like walk in the room because you didn't want the carpet to have marks in it. You're like, what the fuck is the point to this? Where's the fancy shirt, Mark? Well, you know what? The nose ring goes with the grunge look. He's doing like the grunge punk stoner look, like Johnny Depp or something.
Yeah. We're still in the price discovery phase, and I can confidently
you have like a lot of
say
rings on your hand right now. You should have like a ring on every finger and like two on one of your fingers.
good. You know, all I have is my Newsboys dog tag.
Yeah.
You need that no regrets tattoo right across the collarbone.
Oh, and our guest will be in here in a minute.
All right.
The infamous James Maiden, alias Gem.
All right.
You know, money will never be worth less than it is today. So it's just the price discovery mechanism is true, and it'll find the right price at the right time.
The best a cult show on the interwebs. Put Steve in mute.
What?
It's just a great white pope. Snark.
He says to put you in mute.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm a race trader, so the Great White Pope is not a fan. Not a fan.
Listen,
disregards my white babies.
Race trader,
he's a much better dude with a Mexican girl. I'll give it that. Even I'll give it that. Like,
it is what it is.
We're in California. The women here are ruined.
It is what it is.
Minor, you stud.
You know, I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve again, knowing that this swing back to the Jackboot and the patristics of the father.
I do voices, lots of them, lots and lots of them. Yeah, because I think they're fun and they're funny, and I understand that you may not have a sense of humor, but if you removed your own fist from your anus you might be able to take shit a little bit less seriously. I don't know, man. It's a thought. It's a thought.
Might close up if you remove it. So replace it with something else.
See,
Right.
Chris says
Mhm.
women here are gonzo. That's why I like the
Right.
Mexicans and actual
Yeah.
You know what
Mexican
this dumb fuck doesn't even realize is that it's my StreamYard and the only person that can mute me is me. So, Karen, when you're asking for the manager, I'm the fucking manager.
I think the mute
Sorry,
key
Karen.
is on your
You're
own
right. That's why we
keyboard.
had-
Fucking
That's
laugh
why
now.
we had like a 15-hour stream because
Yeah.
Marcus and I don't actually have the ability to turn the stream on and off.
No,
That's-
I've
That's how
relinquished
that
that.
ended up happening. Now, what we figured out is that I can disconnect my personal YouTube off the stream, which ends it on my YouTube, but then it keeps going on Steve's Rumble account.
The Rumble never
Wake Up,
ends.
follow him over on Rumble. And the
Rumble
hilarious
never
part is then because Marcus and I post stream, and people like Tony Coriolis, our first member, and Stella, our second member, are going to soon have access to some of these things. But Marcus and I always, after the show, will sit and bullshit for a couple hours because this is really kind of our social time, and this is just like us hanging out and you guys watching. Fucking they can come hang out and watch us and stuff. And when Marcus and I are doing more of the bullshitting, plotting, coordinating, making fun of things.
That's exactly what the communists say.
It's a bit of a splinter cell. We are a revolutionary group. Certainly, we don't meet on Discord, but StreamYard is the tool of choice here. Absolutely. Yes.
We love you too.
Great appreciation to our founding members for the YouTube. YouTube's got a lot of new features. We'll be testing those out. Also, they have a likeness thing where they're using AI to determine that our faces are beautiful. So I'm just giving them all the best angles. When AI on YouTube is able to determine that this is my face, yes, indeed, and this is my voice, yes, indeed, and that if anybody tries to copy it or use AI to duplicate it, it's not me. It's not the original.
AlanMarcus.com
is the original.
We're not us, and we're not original.
Right.
That's what it told us.
Yeah, it felt real bad to feel that way. To be told that you might not be you, and I might not be me.
Minimum wage was like $3.80 when I started working, and I didn't make minimum wage either, but that's because small farms don't have to pay their employees minimum wage, but that's because a lot of times the person working at the farm also lives on the farm, eats at the farm. The farm basically pays all their living expenses, so they don't have to give them minimum wage. That's built into a lot of states. Again, there's a lot of different
minimum wage job was $3.15 an hour, and then I got up to $3.85 before I took a pay cut because I went to be a waiter, and it was $2.25 an hour as a waiter because you got tips and you didn't have to report your tips.
My first job was $3 an hour shoveling liquid pig shit.
My first job was, what did I get? I think I got $3 an hour detasseling corn, and then the next year I got $4 an hour on hay crew, and then the year after that I wound up getting like $9 an hour because I learned how to drive the tractor.
Ooh.
And if you could drive the tractor, you got $5 an hour, but I also got an extra $1 an hour for every one of my idiot friends I could hire on to throw hay.
That's what gives you the arms. That's how come that's how come I've got beastly arms, but I don't ever go to a gym. Like, you throw around some hay bales. Yeah.
Did you throw some hay bales around with Marty last week? How did you feel that went? You've had a couple days to reflect.
Stopped that guy. He got like the only point, and I still, as a conspiracy person, for me, this was a real barn wall moment. And even when I look at the Google answer of which religion's the largest, they're making pretty heavy claims in some areas that aren't traditionally, like, I understand that you Christians send a lot of missionaries over to Africa, but there was vast swaths of Africa that they're claiming are Christian dominant. And like ever since I was little, I absolutely always remember that Islam was the largest religion in the world. And now that's a flip flop. And again, it's a barn. Anybody that's read Animal Farm, that's a barn wall moment for me. And I know it is for Steve too, because he said the same answer when Steve said it. I was fully like, yeah, 100%. You know, and both of us are staring at the barn wall going,
Oh shit!
that's not what it said.
Yeah, go ahead and ask Google AI right now in this live stream, what is the world's largest religion? And then to find out that Google is telling you it's Christianity first and Islamicism second.
Yeah.
This must be because of the proliferation of bootleg DC Talk CDs.
It could be. It might have something to do with that. And perhaps that the Hero rock opera was more successful outside of the USA.
Oh, that's fair.
And Rebecca St. James was on the soundtrack.
Michael W. Smith.
Michael W. Smith. Yeah, Gospel Gangsta T-Bone was in it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Steve, put this comment up. That's fucking hilarious.
Which one?
It might be half cat hair. It very well could be. My wife very seldomly kisses
Knights of the Storm
at this point because kissing me, she just spits out 3 cat hairs.
We all see a beard on Benji, but I see a bunch of shed cat hair that is accumulated. Yeah,
that's why you never see him actually brushing it out on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the cats are rubbing up against your chin, that stubble, and it just collects.
Yeah, and dabs are the glue. It's you know, dab vapor and then cat hair, and it's just a accumulation.
Right.
It's all right.
Right. It's like his chin is the underside of the couch at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably true.
That was way funnier than I'm gonna get credit for, by the way. That was decent. For like a PG rated joke, I don't usually do those.
I know we gotta learn to behave.
I was talking to my youngest kid yesterday, and we're joking around, and I just in my head I'm like, okay, dude, you have to keep this within the realm of like, kid humor. It was a fun little exercise. It was.
Yeah, especially Waylon's a real sweetheart of a kid. He's not devious. He's not devious like Connor.
Right. Who, by the way, took a tour of and I think signed a lease on his place today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little stud.
He's right between his work and his gym. Which is like basically all he cares about anyway. So it'll be,
Typically, the only time I ever concern myself is Crow 777. When I go on his show, he does not like. I said a mild swear on his show once, and he like brought it up like 3 times, like, and then for like the next like 3 or because I've been on his show like 15 times, 16 coming up shortly. It's already been recorded, but it'll be airing in 2 weeks.
I think that's what we're looking for.
Yep, so that'd be good. But for like the next 3 times we recorded together, it's like, no, you know that kids listen to our show sometimes and they get played in schools and you can't be swearing. Like, I said one mild cuss one time. Like, I probably didn't even know it was a cuss.
That's a debatable topic. I know that there's some parents who go on social media and talk about how with their children, they allow their children in the car, just amongst the family, to say whatever they want to say and use all the words freely and to express them, to figure out what context certain words are best used in.
So one time we were north of Mankato, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking there was we pull into town and there's a real bad storm, and my son, who's only like 10 maybe at the time, all of a sudden he goes, fuck. And I look over at him, like, that's a little harsh there, kid. And I get ready to, say something to him about it. And right when I do that, lightning strikes again, because lightning had struck the last time, but it didn't really mean anything to me. But when lightning struck again, there was a tornado in the ditch right next to the car. And I was like, fuck. That was the exact appropriate time to bust that out, son. Yeah, you got that right. If we live through this somehow. And we must have been like in the eye or something. There was actually 2 tornadoes too. We ended up finding out, but we only saw the one. We went behind. They're called Casey's back in the Midwest. This corporation called Casey's took over all the small town gas stations.
CASEY Casey's.
Yeah, but it's a brick building. And that was the closest thing we could do. And it was hilarious because I had to turn around a meeting and go like this to get behind the Casey's. Mm-hmm. And when I turned around for that split second, my son's like, "Why are you turning around?" Like, voice cracking, the whole nine. It was hilarious. I didn't laugh at the time because I was also scared shitless. But
when when my oldest was, I don't know, just learning how to ride a bike, 5, 6, something like that, on an actual 2-wheeler, we're out in front of my other buddy Ben's house. And Jim, I'll bring you up in just a moment, I promise. He's on the bike and he's just stacks, eats it, and it's, it's asphalt. It's also got a whole bunch of potholes and shit in it. And it's, you're in the boonies, and where there ain't potholes, there's like redwood roots sticking up out of it, stuff like that. And I walk up to him because he looks like he's about to get into something. And I walk up to him and he goes, "Dad, can I say shit?" I was like, "Yeah, boy, it's okay. You can totally say that." He was like, "Shut!" All right.
When I was a kid, shit was acceptable, but if you're gonna drop the F-bomb, there better be some serious reason for it.
Jesus. Yeah. Let's bring Jim up. I don't know if both of you want to introduce him at the same time.
He needs no
I
introduction.
already glazed him. It's Marcus. Marcus better take a turn.
I don't know that he needs an introduction. I think we all know who he is. I guess if we don't, we'll find out maybe a little bit more about this mysterious figure known as the Gem.
Hey.
Sounds good, Gem.
Yeah.
Welcome to the sound test.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Good acoustics in that room. What's that house plant doing back there? Just growing?
That's a fig tree.
Okay. Oh, wait. Are we allowed to say that?
Totally.
Yes.
Fig?
Yes. Clearly, Jim gives a fig. You should too.
Fun fact: the bears around here don't like figs. My orchard got raided, and they did not eat the figs. What's up, Cheryl?
Figs growing trees.
It's a fiddle leaf.
Fiddle leaf. Is that what it is? Rachel's here with me. She's off camera.
Oh,
the beautiful Rachel.
Christy, Cheryl said she's going to call you.
But not on Tuesday nights because I can't do that while you're on the show.
Yeah, not on Tuesday nights.
And no calls on Tuesday nights. We got a show. We got a stream. We're live.
So, what I miss?
We just kind of got into it a little bit. Well, what's the matter?
Mostly the only thing we really talked about outside of goofy personal stories was Mr. Kirk being unalived and the reactions, extraordinary polarized reactions since then, including the calls for censorship and possible new gun laws from the right.
Oh my goodness.
Just kind of disappointed he was 31 years old and not 33 years old.
Well, they found the suspect within 33 hours, specifically according to Kash Patel. So you do get that. Also, it was on the 11th and he's 22. So you get another 33 out of that.
Okay.
And so there are multiple 33s to go around. Fear not. Fear not.
Okay. All right.
And then we talked about the auto hoaxers who all automatically call these things fake and blah blah blah.
It's their
and they've
default
got 100
position.
I even actually saw a real big video where they broke it down, and the guy was so full of shit. And where he showed entry wounds, and it was all from pistols and exit wounds, and I'm like, how is that good? Because he's like, because it was so big on that, and it's like it's a 30-06. It's a giant fucking round. Like that's literally a large animal round. That's not a sniper round because it's a large clunky round. Like actually the size smaller, the Creedmoor is a sniper round. The 30-06 isn't. He's like, most people would have used a 5. He's like, and he's trying to claim that the shooter came from somewhere else and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it could have been a 5.56. He's like a 7.62 sounds like it's much deeper. And I was like, what? A 7.62 sounds like it's being shot from a tin can. Like that is such a pitchy fucking shot, and it hurts my ears. I can shoot a 5.
And your shoulder.
Yeah. Freaking like it's from inside of a can. It's really a pitchy.
It is tinny. Yeah. Can confirm.
Like I shoot a lot.
The gun they showed, which apparently now miraculously isn't the gun anymore or something like that. That's what I saw before we came on the air tonight. It looked to me like it was like a Remington 700. And then they're like, no, it's a Mauser. And I'm like, well, that's what they said it was originally in the JFK, too. They said that was a Mauser. And then they retracted that after the fact, said it was an Italian gun. And
I'll buy that simply because Italians are all fuck them people.
Wow, but it was the 60s. Everybody was mobbed up, including the FBI. It was a different time, Ben. It was a different time. We allowed for a moment Italians into our society, and then we discovered what they were all about and said, never again, never again.
Pizza?
It's not even an Italian dish.
Don't ever get spaghetti sauce on your voting pamphlet because it's automatically thrown out.
Oh no!
Anti-Italian laws. Once I voted, and I got spaghetti sauce on my ballot. Yeah,
okay.
The last time I voted, they threw it right out. Didn't count for anything. They elected that guy, Barack Obama.
Oh no! Oh, not that guy.
Everybody love Black Jesus.
And weirdly, then
all
the
the people
country
that
became
don't love
racist
Black Jesus. Sorry.
after he got more dominantly voted in than freaking anybody besides Reagan. Like the country became immediately racist after that. It's so weird.
Right.
Like everybody's super racist.
Gotta love the pendulum swinging back and forth. We're headed.
It was hilarious because BLM started under Obama, and that's when you started hearing everything that any white person had to say was racist, and any answer to any disagreement was, "Well, you're racist." Like, and that all that, and then the statues getting taken down, all that was Obama era. Like the country's going, but we elected a black guy. The popular majority did that. What do you mean? Like, that's when shit really started getting wild. Like my new favorite right now, currently, the one that really you're like brain reset, where the left is saying that the right wants to take their guns, and they've always been for gun rights, and also that this potential shooter was a Groyper hard right Christian because he's from a Christian family, and no weird leftist came from a wealthy upper middle class Christian family. That never happened.
It's classist of you to suggest otherwise.
Yeah, he was born Christian. He's Christian, hard right wing Christian. Now you're like,
yeah, but we all make our spaghetti in the same pan.
That's been putting out. And then my other favorite that the right needs to stop. This was literally like an abused wife situation. The right's like after Charlie Kirk gets smoked, they're like, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have talked that way. Hey, Jesus, fuck.
Okay.
So yeah, we've instituted on a domestic level the don't want none, won't be none policy, except for anybody with feels and look, I don't believe this shit for a second. I want to be on record as that I don't think this is what happened. I don't think a radical far left, far right, trans loving, furry, indulging Mormon Utah sheriff's deputy's kid who also never touched a gun but spent time on the rifle range that didn't have a Discord account but did, and then also spent a lot of time on Reddit, but nobody can confirm that. I don't think that kid got up on a roof, went all the way over, got into a prone position, took that shot, and then disassembled, according to the police, a Mauser.
A Mauser.
Put half of it in his backpack, half of it in his pants, ran down the stairwell into the woods, reassembled it, and magically procured a box and a blanket to wrap it in with a perfect palm print to leave for the police that the police have not said matched the kid at any point. We have a ChatGPT confessional. We've got a letter that doesn't exist, but initially reported was there was a palm print found on the rifle, and it was great. It was a beautiful palm print. And then suddenly, after they've had the kid in custody for what, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, now we're Tuesday, 5 days, they haven't been able to match the palm print that they said they found. That's odd. I don't know. When everything doesn't make sense, you have to assume it's some sort of cover up. And then from that point on, you look at where all of the legislative and law enforcement action is going. And the direction that it's going is no matter where you're sitting in the United States of America, east, and it lands in Tel Aviv.
And the thing that's interesting on this one is they're coming after farm rifles this time. It's almost exclusively been pistols and semi-automatic rifles up until this point, and this is the first time that they've brought farm rifles, and a Mauser, I believe, is a screw barrel, so that's not going to be easy to take apart. You're going to want that in a vise and everything else. But the such a large, accurate gun, even if it is a clunky round, at 150 yards, I realize that the conspiracy world's screaming out that this took a professional to do this. The guy that actually did it, if this kid is just being a patsy, could have been my sniper neighbor, who's a legitimate, true, probably shot more humans than most people have shook hands with. Like spent years behind enemy lines in Nam, has all the records behind it. The dude's a broken man from it. Like he cries like within 10 minutes of meeting anybody because he starts telling any story, and it includes he killed somebody. All of his stories, you're like, fucking A. That guy is like walking faces of death. But that guy with a fucking red dot could shoot 1,500 yards accurately, like dead eye accurate. 1,500 yards. And when I was in the Army, and I'm not any kind of a sniper, with an iron sight, I can hit 79 out of 80 at 300 yards with an iron sight. And in a 5.56 is a shit round. It's the cheapest garbage shit you got from the lowest bidding contractor is what we were using. I started out, we were using the M16A1. We moved to the M16A2 because fully automatic M16 is just a worthless thing. Your barrel is a spaghetti noodle within like 2 fucking clips, and you only accurately shoot about 3 rounds. That's why they switched it to 3, because after that it goes up into the right, up into the right. Yeah, 1,500 yards with a fucking red dot. I'm like, what?
No, there are people that are definitely capable of that for sure, and they existed way before Vietnam, and that it's not a plain red shirt. This is my gang shirt. Ben has seen it. He has seen the back of it. I am. I'm not going to go ahead and grab the fucking cut, but some of y'all know. I don't know. You can just make it. It's faded because it's old, because I've been patched in for a while.
Some
But
people just can't
there
get
is,
past the facade. It's
I
all
gotta
a
make out a little bit of print
facade.
right there.
So, right, guys, there's some new news in the Luigi Mangione situation.
Free Luigi. I don't know.
Yeah, getting dismissed on 2 terrorism-related counts this morning. There's still
Yeah, it's only murder, not
a
terrorism.
couple other criminal counts. I think 8 or so. Just trying to compare weapons. What did Luigi use? Was it partially a ghost printed gun or something? A silencer was on it.
Steve was never a joiner like that, but when they said that they take care of especially the widows, he's like, I'm in.
Because I might make one.
Black Widows, Widowmaker. Huh.
That's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Do you need the spaghetti recipe for that?
For Luigi?
For the killer spaghetti, or as the Italians call it, spaghetti all ass-ina. All ass-ina.
No, the
All
ones from the East
assassina.
Coast leave the vowel off because they think they're special. So it's not like assassino, it's assassin. Like
All
it's
assassina.
or prosciutto. Like
Yeah.
they really lean into that, and it's obnoxious as fuck.
Yeah, it might sound like a breeding ground for Italian hitmen, but it's just a famous dish where they put the noodles uncooked into a big pot, big cast iron, and they just kind of cook it all together. Kind of get crunchy noodles, and they burn them, and it's real.
Well,
It's
I
fun.
think that middle name thing only applies to presidential level. Like
No,
that-
or serial killers. 'Cause
right.
John
Okay,
Wayne
serial
Gacy
killers.
never killed a
I'll
president.
agree, serial killers also.
Yeah.
But they, to be honest, this guy wasn't even a politician. Now, did he probably have a political future? Possibly. At some point, he was probably also going to say, probably not, because I'm going to take a severe pay cut for it. And I'm having just as much effect in the working through media as I ever would as a politician.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, he wasn't an actual politician. Sure, he was a popular figure, but that's only in America do we give a god status almost to our media and entertainment figures. Like it's really kind of hilarious because you look in the 70s the biggest movie stars didn't make anything more than average businessmen. And it's somewhere after the advent of the TV that they really, America just sucked in that programming.
Speaking of the 3 names, when you're creating a person, like a corporate person, it has to have a suffix at the end, like Alan Marcus LLC or
Esquire.
Esquire, unless it's a government organization, and then it has to have 3 names, like the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the Central Intelligence Agency. That's a government corporation or a government agency. So this is why I always thought that these presidential assassins always had first, middle, and last names, because they're giving out the hand that they created an entity. They created a corporation for this hit. So they're saying, they're like patting themselves on the back. They're saying this is the corporate entity that took care of this whole thing. It's a clue for the people that know.
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
Trump's assassin didn't have 3 names, I think, because it was just.
Wait, hang on. Are you suggesting that the Miracle Ear incident may not have been 100% reality?
I would never suggest anything like that.
It was a magical moment, magical time.
It was magical.
We could all just
Although
go
I've never
back to that
seen the
moment
guy-
and live it again.
I've never seen him wear a white shirt before that day. He's always wearing dark shirts when he'd go to the college campuses.
Chris
So-
Miner, I agree. Normally, you wouldn't think of him as the specific target, especially with the centrist as he is. But I think what this specifically was aimed at was young people, and for a media figure to be in with the young crowd is really very odd, especially one as politically driven as him, and especially as conservative leaning as he is. So I think that this was definitely aimed at the young crowd, because they're the ones who, if something crazy pops off, it's the young wild ones that are extraordinarily polarized that are the ones that are going to do that.
I'll put that, and I'll add to that, because I didn't know any of this about Turning Points USA or any of that until around this time last year. I'd definitely seen clips of Charlie Kirk before, but I'm in my 40s. I'm already, I have a specific ideology that has nothing to do with the two-party system. I don't participate in any kind of that nonsense, so it wasn't really on my radar. But because I am white and over 40, and I didn't have a Bluetooth speaker in my truck, I was driving up to San Rafael one day. I had Sean Hannity on the radio. That's what it was. It was right-wing talk radio. And Hannity was complaining about the lack of ground game for the Trump administration. He's like, why doesn't the campaign put boots on the ground to go do this, knock doors, and blah, 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 blah. And he found out very quickly it was because Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, had already handled all of that. And they were the most effective grassroots political organizing, door knocking Christian conservative organization in not just America, but a number of other Western and Westernized countries. And you can't downplay that kind of impact on a landscape for people who are bought into the duopoly. It's a very, very major influential organization as far as that goes. So
let me interrupt Steve for 1 second to emphasize what Steve's saying right now. There was some leftist organizations that tried to put together a cancel movement against Charlie Kirk, including, I think, Dean Withers. These are prominent leftist speakers, and they went and tried to do an opposing, anti-Charlie Kirk event and got crickets. That guy had a giant impact on the youth, a giant impact. And because he was and I'm not going to say some of his political positions weren't far right, but the way he carried himself was very moderate. Anybody could have a conversation with that guy, and he's going to, through intelligent speak, attempt to sway you to his position, the way adults are supposed to work. And he didn't get worked up about anything. And through that, I think that was at the very least getting as much traction as anything else, where kids really respected that he would listen to them and then counter them with intelligent arguments. So he's also not invalidating their thoughts. He's listening to them. So the fact that during cancel, and this was at the height of cancel culture, the left failed to cancel him, spectacularly failed, tells you what kind of power his organization is carrying.
Jim, what do you think?
I think that he's got a really large head, from the definitely in the plan.
Yeah, but I mean, when you throw that onto the dude's 6'5", he's ogreish tall.
Yeah, that's also fair. The big fella.
That's a good point. What do you guys think about his wife?
I mean, I don't.
Now
I've
that
never
she's
been
available
a
on the
reality
market again?
TV star. I've never been in that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what goes through. I know that. Okay, I do know this. For centuries, there used to be public wakes and public viewings and stuff like that. And in the last 50 or so years, American culture has gone away from that. And now in 2025, the equivalent of a public viewing is having somebody watch a weeping widow throw herself on a casket. So it is politics. It is nobody's trying to deny that Charlie Kirk wasn't a highly effective agent of specifically the GOP, because he definitely was.
In Israel.
So yeah, up until a point, right before he was suddenly assassinated, which I'm sure is just a coincidence. But it's one of those things where, in lieu of the kind of like, oh, we've got Wyatt Earp's body on display and it's on a fucking train tour through America, so you can all gather around it and be in awe of this, famous hero, whatever. You do it on Instagram, you do it on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So that's a possible answer for it. Another possible answer for it is she's an actress, he was an actor. It's all fake. It's all gay. None of it happened except for it happened, and that's the mass trauma event.
Yeah, I heard she was on a reality show, like a dating show years back.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
and they met in line at the fucking customs in Israel or something like that.
So,
Wow.
That's her story.
Pass out. I was just
I'll play that clip.
Well, we could have IMDb profiles too.
So from my position, and this is kind of like why I've never brought up like anybody's wife, like Owens, Andrews, anybody's wife. She's towing the line. And I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, can't believe she's pushing this stuff after he died. When the king goes down, he expects the queen to carry out the things that have been laid out. And that's what she's doing. And I don't care how opposed I am to what they're saying. If his wife is backing him, she's a good wife and she's doing her job. And you're not going to get me to say bad things about that. I don't care if it's something I don't like. If you're backing your man, I got nothing to say about you or to you. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll argue it out, the ideology and all that, with the dude or whatever. But if you're just backing your dude, I ain't got nothing bad to say about it. So certainly, don't ever let a good tragedy go to waste. We all understand that saying and have known it for years and years. And are they politicizing this and trying to use it to as much political advantage as possible? Abso-fucking-lutely. And am I going to fucking criticize his wife for towing the line that he set out? Nope. And I'm very anti-Israel, and I'm a heathen. I'm not a Christian. I'm anti the Christian nationalism. But she's doing what, boys? You all should wish a wife like that for a wife like that. This is how your kids end up being like you. This is how traditions carry on. This is how things get truly built. It's when you have a wife that's something different than you, and when you get in trouble, pass on, whatever, and then all of a sudden, or you're not home and she's teaching your kids a different way, and then you wonder why your kids are so anti-you. It's because your wife taught them that. Like, she's standing behind her man. She's a fucking queen. I ain't never going to say nothing wrong about it.
Was she planning on taking over his role? Because she said it would continue.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that they would, on such a conservative Christian movement, try to put a woman at the head of it. But my guess is she's going to anoint the new king. They're going to put JD Vance up front there for a little bit, obviously. And
No, they can't. He's the vice
bring
president.
attention to this.
that can't happen, Ben. That can't happen. He went on the air that one time. Now Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles and everybody from Daily Wire is like moving into that space. The Daily Wire just donated $1 million
Wow.
to TPUSA. Ben Shapiro said he was going to, quote, pick up the bloodstained microphone, and take up the campus debate thing. $1 million is a drop in the bucket for $140 million organization a year. That's their baseline. They handle around $500 million a year. $1 million doesn't mean anything except for the Daily Wire, like Ben Shapiro did with Breitbart, is now moving in for operation, trying to, at least it's what it looks like, move in for operational control, like Shapiro did with Breitbart. Ironically, Shapiro also poached Candace Owens from Turning Points USA and gave her the job at Daily Wire until she left over allegedly the Israel-Gaza thing and a number of other concerns. So all of this stuff is like swimming around itself right now, and it's it's a chemical soup of fuckery.
Yeah, I would say that Shapiro is definitely taking it over, but what they're trying to figure out is who's going to be the new face. And it can't be Shapiro, it can't be Knowles, it's got to be somebody young and upcoming who's also susceptible to the things that they want to happen.
Some young communications major with a shining degree. Could send in some auditions tapes. I'm looking at the changing landscape of media over the years, going back.
Somebody with questionable morals, like an Alex Stein, something like that.
Okay.
Where you're gonna do what we tell you. You're gonna throw away all your old friends. You're gonna toe this line, and that person's gonna go, "Yep."
Well, here's a quote. I wouldn't say a single word to them. I would listen to what they have to say, and that's what no one did. Did people listen to Charlie Kirk and what he had to say? I think they really did, sincerely. And looking back towards the Columbine thing in 1999 and how Michael Moore made his documentary, he was sort of like, well, gun control, this type of thing. There was a time when media was a lot slower. People put time and effort into documentaries and getting them into movie theaters, recognizing now that Charlie built this media company, Tapusa. I'll call it Tapusa USA, Tapusa. He built this thing from nothing to something using streaming. That's kind of what Fuentes has done with his Groyper movement, and he's 26, 27 years old. So there's a lot of power giving young people internet connections, microphones, cameras, and the ability to live stream. There's a lot of power there. That wasn't always available. Now that it is available, it seems to have changed the media landscape a little bit. I guess my pushback and criticism would be young men, they have a lot of energy, but maybe not a lot of experience. I think Charlie Kirk seemed to have a lot of experience. Did he have a lot of mentors? Did he talk about the books he was reading? Did he have a lot of mentors? I don't know. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Charlie Kirk, but now that I've said Charlie Kirk's name a dozen times, I think I'm going to have to look into him further. After social media was just covered in Charlie Kirk, everything was Charlie Kirk. All the videos being uploaded, all the podcasts being, every bit of content that was uploaded after that day for the last 5 days has been Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk, Charlie Kirk. Everything is now Charlie Kirk. What was going on before everything became Charlie Kirk only? There was some other political stuff happening, other votes taking place, other geopoliticals. There's a lot that's going on, but now everything is just focused on Charlie Kirk. We're also focused on Charlie Kirk. What else is there to look at? We had September 11th. What was that? 20 some years ago? Was that we figured that out? Is that
24.
solved? 24 years ago? The September 11th event. I mean, every event now is being given a day. It's like a day in a month, and there's a numbered event. So now, at what point is every good date going to be taken? It's like when people are trying to choose a wedding memorial that's easy to remember. I mean, so many people chose 8/8 because it's great and there's a Lionsgate and it's easy to remember. 9/11, 9/11, call for help, that sort of thing is easy to remember. But now there's certain events that are only known by the date on the calendar, and then it's assumed that everybody should understand what that number code means. But it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what certain dates mean, like 1/6, January 6th. What does that mean? Do we know exactly the year that 1/6 event took place?
Well, you put out a bottle of gin and a hammer for the Pelosi family on January 6th. That's what you do.
The 6th, was that the Advent Day or the Ascension Day or something?
And no cheap shit. That shit better light on fire if you put a
Oh
match
yeah,
to it.
Sure. I mean, and I'm still
It should peel paint.
and to continue to push back against our guest from last week, who's not here anymore, but we still have a lot more thoughts. And this barn wall situation where apparently Christianity is the largest religion, as if that in and of itself means something, but then not recognizing the breakdown of different denominations and denomination within denomination, and the whole schism thing that we were trying to patiently explain what a schism is, and this guy was not understanding schisms.
Oh, that would be a good one to replace Kirk with, Barron Trump. Oh my, that would be effective.
oh, he's just as tall.
Yeah, and he's got a bit of notoriety amongst the conservative base.
Kind of a handsome fellow. Was
If he
he?
can-
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
in
can't do
Fashion
the.
Week?
He can only do the Zionism thing. He can't do the like Christian nationalist thing. Which, I guess maybe the direction that organization is headed.
That's a good guess.
Right? Way to go, Zox.
I wrote that down. Is there a bookie? Can we put some bets on Barron Trump becoming?
Yeah, dude, you could go to
bigger?
that freaking betting site where they let you bet on political stuff and all that kind of shit, dude. Barron
let's
Trump for head
check
of
that out.
TPUSA. Thank you, baby. You fucking-
Sure.
Dude, did you imagine the money you would have made if you would have put up leftist fight for gun rights? Like, they've been like, oh yeah, we'll give you like 1,000 to 1.
Oh
Like,
man.
just throw away that money. Like, holy shit! I seen some backwards shit. Like just the fact that the Democrats are supposedly the party of the people. Like Democrats have always been the party of the slavers and the nasties and like
Communism.
That's
yeah,
not what Michael
communism,
Moore taught me.
like,
He
all the
bowled
bad
for
things
Columbine.
have been Democrat, and all of a sudden they have the reputation of being the party of the people. But also at the same time, and it's this because we're such a short-memoried society, they forget things like the riots in the fucking 70s. That was because of the Democrats, not the Republicans. That was because the Democrats were forcing rich boys into the place where the people wanted a populist figure. It was George McGovern, and the Democrats were forcing Hubert Humphrey III down everybody's throat, and the people rioted. Like, that's what the Democrats have always done, so this is just weird.
Yeah, how many years is it going to take? Is it going to take another 80 years for people to see MAGA the same as NAZI?
Oh, dude, that happens already. That association, and that's what's weird about this whole thing is that the left is pretending like they haven't used language that 100% dehumanizes the right, and that they don't slather that shit about like a painter who's been sniffing his own paint. They just wipe that on anything that disagrees with them in any way, shape, or form. Including white men have taken a giant beating since the 90s Like basically they've got white men to the point where your opinion doesn't count and you're just trash unless you're a tranny.
The most violent arguments come from that side, the most hateful rhetoric, I feel like. I mean,
100%. Their rhetoric is crazy, and that's the thing is you're you'll if you disagree with their opinion, what you're saying is hateful, and then they'll call you things like Nazi, and then say things like punch a Nazi, and all that kind of shit. They no self accountability in any way, shape, or form coming out of that party, including like, and it's interesting because I don't know if you guys, we haven't brought it up yet tonight, but saw that Destiny is getting brought up in high courts where with the attorney general with fucking, they're talking about using Destiny as an example because his dumb fucking ass is out there just saying disturbing shit and has since the Trump attempt on Trump. And has said the most disturbing shit you could imagine. Like after the attempt on Trump with the firemen that died. And in America, firemen are almost religious. Like most people with like cops, it's a 50-50. Like, half of us dislike cops. Half of them think they're great. Firemen, there's really no bad rap for firemen. They are just, they're set aside as true public servants that are
nobody hates those guys.
Yeah. And one of them gets blasted and Destiny's like, he deserved it. It's funny, blah, blah, blah. And out there just saying the most fucked up shit. And then refusing to say that they need to tone down their rhetoric. That maybe saying all these things where they're literally the left has literally been talking about assassinations and things like that for quite some time, and it's major figures. So
like Madonna.
Yeah. And so they're going to use him. They're using Destiny as a figurehead, as of an example, because he's a large figure. He was just on Piers Morgan saying this crazy shit, and they're gonna now implement censorship from the right.
That pendulum swinging all the way back over.
Well, they figured out with the COVID that as long as, like, literally overnight, Trump's in office, all the right wing are all pro jibby jabs, and fucking they all have gotten their jibby jabs. Biden gets inaugurated within a month. The left side is all pro jibby jabs, and the right side like, I would never take a experimental drug. I mean, I did already, but I would never do it again.
Yeah, that was warp speed. That was the greatest thing ever unveiled in the history of jabby jabs.
Yeah, and he still stands behind it. And fucking the guy who is anti-jab, RFK, also is a huge investor in mRNA technology, just not the company that they're currently using. Caitlin Bennett of YT's Liberty Hangout is super at exposing progressive idiocracy. Huh.
Well, look at that. Thanks, Thor.
That is Steve Mercer. He is a fucking stud.
Mm-hmm. So Destiny has been allowed to say a lot of ridiculous things as an entertainer, but he's also an informer, maybe an informant. I don't know.
And also a sexual predator, and also, which this is one of the things I noticed on Piers Morgan. Since his wife left him, who would have guessed his wife would leave him when he's letting her sleep with other dudes, and then eventually one of them dicks fucking stuck real good and got that good spot.
Sure, but this doesn't hurt him.
That dude. Who would have guessed that was going to happen?
Well, this doesn't hurt the Destiny brand because the Destiny brand is That's built into it. The
Well,
degeneracy is
being
expected.
a deviant, 100%.
And any drama involved with the character of Destiny keeps Destiny's name in the news. So people are going to tune in and see, well, what is Destiny up to now? Has he topped
Well, he's
himself
back
in
on
his
the map
degeneracy?
again, was my point. Like, or on whatever heavy upper that he takes, because for a little while he started talking and his mouth would move up and down like a normal person. And now if you watch that Pierce Morgan interview, he looks like them characters off of South Park, the ones of the Canadian dudes where their mouth just goes side to side, and that's all his mouth is doing, is just side to side, side to side. And that's absolutely when he's just all yacked out. No, nobody's surprised another Cavendish is corrupt.
Well, Pierce Morgan has just got a shining track record of interviewing the greatest people and having the best talking heads on his program. His YouTube clips are always changing titles. It's the same clip, but every few days they change the title to get some more traction if it doesn't do well enough. I mean, Piers Morgan, wasn't he an apprentice on a Donald Trump show on NBC?
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
I never watched that show.
I don't know anyone who could take Piers Morgan serious after seeing his poor performance on The Apprentice, and Donald Trump fired him.
All those guys who start out and they, even if they don't do well, like that, what's the name of that comedian guy who's mainstream and like he's not necessarily the biggest stand-up, but he's definitely got the biggest mainstream-ish podcast and all that. What the fuck's that guy's name? He's from like MTV, like Road Rules. Some
Theo Von.
Oh,
Yeah,
Theo
Theo
Von.
Von. Yeah, not even particularly a funny guy, and wasn't great on that, or anything. But you see him in all these little shit roles, and then all of a sudden he's a big name.
Yeah, out of nowhere, it seems like that guy.
Well, he's part of the Rogan sphere. Nobody knew who the fuck he was till Joe Rogan said, he's funny as hell, boy, I promise. And then people were like, oh, yeah, I guess he is. Same with Andrew Schultz and Bert Kreischer and all kinds of, like, just plainly unfunny comics that, suckle at the teat of Papa Joe.
Like,
and then there's a couple of people that are bangers, like Shane Gillis. Mark Norman's funny as hell. But it's pretty few and far between in the sphere.
It's hard to be a juggernaut like Bill Burr was back in his heyday before he went fully leftist. When that guy, you couldn't have a conversation without that guy just dropping bombs. Just bam, 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 bam.
He was used to getting shit on by Patrice O'Neill and Jim Norton and freaking like all kinds of like actual killers. That's how he was brought up. And he wrote for the Chappelle Show when he still had hair. They even put him in a couple of sketches. He comes from a totally different era, and then spent the last 5 or 6 years trying to pretend like he never came from that era. Fuck Billy Burr.
Yeah, no, he completely went left hard. Which is funny because his most famous original like breakaway skits were about the discrepancies between accountability for men and accountability for women, and the adulation given out for men and the adulation given out for women. And he had some real spot on hilarious skits, like the one where he's like, mothering's the toughest job in the world. He's like, yeah, I see how putting in that Dora the Explorer DVD into the thing and giving him a fucking bowl of cereal is way worse than working in the coal mines. Sorry about the black lung. Like, he had some real good skits that he had come up with. And now it's just bad, full leftist. Like one of his shining moments was the way he was hammering the leftists when Trump got elected the first time. Like he was live with Rogan and dropping bombs.
Why does leftist comedy suck so bad?
Because they stopped doing comedy and they started doing social commentary. And now it's just people preaching rather than finding the funny in a situation. And it's not even that like right-wing comedy is necessarily funnier, but it did create a space for people to maneuver where they're like, okay, politics are retarded. All of these people are bought and paid for. Yes, we're allowed to make fun of all of them. No, you can't tell me I can't. And that's making a comeback. And I really do appreciate that element, even in kind of, borderline mainstream comedy. Like that's making a comeback.
That's what made Saturday Night Live great back in the day, is that they shit on everybody.
Yeah.
Like that was the best part of it. And the only other acceptable comedies for the left are women saying horribly degenerate things about sexualness, and mostly their vagina, or extreme self-deprecation, especially if you're a white dude.
Yeah.
And none of those things are funny. Like I understand back in high school when the chick that would say really raw things like, God, I wish I could put a fist in my vagina, and a bunch of dudes that were worthless were like, If that's what you want to attract is the dopey heads from fucking high school, yeah, say that kind of shit. But as adults, no decent dude finds that shit funny. Like you're just gross, lady.
I think 9/11 killed comedy, because right after 9/11, it was like, what's his name? The Friars roast of Hugh Hefner.
Oh,
and it was like a few days after 9/11, maybe a week or something, and everybody was all kind of mopey, not really wanting to get into it. And then Gilbert Gottfried hopped up there, and he told like what is the dirtiest joke ever? The Aristocrats.
Yeah.
Dude, that is such a horrible fucking joke. You two fuckers made me watch that.
It is a terrible joke.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit, James. I am, because we've had the best of Patrice O'Neill post 9/11. We had the best of Norm Macdonald post 9/11. We've had, all kinds of just killers come through. Dude, currently, right now, Ryan Long, if you go see his stand-up show, it's phenomenal. Like, and that's right now. Shane Gillis is crushing it right now. There are people that have been there in between too that were just absolute freaking barn burners. So no, man, comedy didn't die with 9/11. It took a vacation for about 3 years.
Well, that's good to hear.
When it came back, it came back phenomenally. But like then
it was Comedy Central for a time. It was 2001. They get the big news event, and then everyone was talking about that event. So everything that popular culture was interested in New York, and that was the center of attention, and the towers and the terrorists and all of that. And then it went to the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. So Comedy Central, it was shifting from being funny to being political to getting people to sign up.
Dave Attell's been around the entire time, and he's a murderer. And to Thor's point, Leonarda Joni played the festival that I throw all over the place called Third Eye Carnival. She did the one that we threw in Nashville with Sam Tripoli and Brad Binkley, and it was phenomenal. And yeah, dude, Rose, Doug Stanhope, shout out to Rose. Thank you for being here.
Rose
Stanhope is, pretty consistently hilarious. Harlan Williams has been around forever. He's hilarious.
God, fucking hilarious.
Harlan Highway Podcast.
Dude, Harlan can hold a line past. See, there's what people don't realize is with good comedy like that, you can't give up at the shits part. Like where people are like, yeah, it was funny for a few seconds, but now stop. No, that's the part where you can't stop. You've got to hold the line until it's ridiculous, and then it's hilarious funny.
Jim Brewer, another great name to add to that list. Jim Brewer, especially in the last like 4 years, killing it, man. James, I'll sandbag you with comedy all day long post 9/11, and you'll be like, stop, stop. My jaw and my stomach hurt. This is one of my passions. I could go grab a freaking t-shirt with either Norm Macdonald or Patrice O'Neal's face on it right now. You know what,
Macdonald? I just mean a lot of mainstream comedy turned to like just obnoxious jokes, like
the ones that they showed on mainstream 100%. What Steve's leaving out in his castigation of you is that
you're right, that mainstream comedy sucks. You're 100% correct about that. And yeah, dude, I'm not gonna argue that at all.
He follows niche things. Music and comedy are two of Steve's biggest niches, and that dude will pull out like, oh, you think rap sucks? Well, here's some rap that's absolutely correct and political and motivating. And like 6 other people bought this CD, motherfucker.
Well, here's the thing. I guess no one in our audience had watched Celebrity Apprentice in 2008 because I said Donald Trump had fired Piers Morgan. In fact, that's the opposite of true. He hired Piers Morgan, being the obnoxious British guy. It was between Trace Adkin, the American guy, and the British guy, and they were the final 2 apprentices. Yes, the country singer. Yep. And that was in 2008.
Was on the Apprentice show?
That was NBC. Yep.
See, this is what it tells you, folks. That these Hollywood people are chosen, and it's just finding the slot to fit them in.
Trace Adkins could have had the Trace Adkins show, and he could have been doing talking head political commentary just like Piers Morgan. Actors on IMDb. Get an IMDb profile, you're set for life. Some podcasters are allowed to have them, others are not. I think we would qualify to have them, but we would not meet other qualifications. So there are certain people who are surprised when they discover that an IMDb profile has been set up for them. Like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't do this. How did this happen? Well, there's certain clubs that their membership in and certain thing. Steve, got something to say?
Oh, no, I was just receiving seconds, which you guys don't have. And yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Chat has scheduled plumber's visits all throughout the week.
But the tortillas, the guacamole, and the salsa, all homemade. And then I can tell you the name of the ranch where the chickens came from. Yeah.
That ranch was a dressing that came in a little packet. You tear it open and it's like white cream.
Not trying to eat shitty. Might be getting fat, but not eating shitty.
Steve Mercer, I got a killer episode coming out with Crow and Rose and them here in a couple weeks. You're going to love it.
How's Cracker Barrel doing?
Better than ever, apparently.
Okay.
All it took was, mid-range white breastises, and they were back on track.
There's an Iranian, a man from Iran who had a lot of money and was trying to do some takeover for it.
That Crack Amigo song about the Cracker Barrel is so fucking funny. It's painful.
Oh, it's great. Did you see the new one about where the Slurpee song?
Slurpee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't think we get YouTube violated for that.
Yes, we do, Steve.
Yes, we do. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
We get double
do you know that the only thing that actually has held monetization is my shorts?
Wow. Okay.
Your jorts. Your shorty shorts.
If we go back and look at, they demonetize basically every fucking episode, dude.
Full ownership of all material used in the video must be claimed by the uploader of the video.
Like my farm shorts, outdo the. Hold on, I'll give you the exact fucking numbers.
Are we gonna see you in your
We've made 64 cents off of
Yes.
fucking ads on during our show.
Boots with the fur and the Daisy Dukes on.
And my fucking stupid little farm shorts have made twice as much. Like, and they're like usually like 30 seconds long.
That's why Trace Adkins almost overtook The Apprentice Piers Morgan in 2008.
So should we hype this episode, or should we hype last week's episode? You've got
Oh
hype.
man, last week got stomped. It was actually doing great.
Yeah.
And it was like it was screaming along, and then all of a sudden, literally the thing happened, and it was like zap bap. Like not a single fucking watch for like 4 days. Like
Yeah. We got to the heart of the matter. We asked, what is conservatism? And Steve got us there, even though he was strawmanning and gish galloping and not sticking to the point apparently, but he got us to the point of what is conservatism, and is man inherently conservatist, conservation, the word, in all of its forms. Does a man want to preserve this type of thing? And it seemed like the answer is yes. That's what a man does.
Yeah, my
Especially in
shorts
shorts.
do vastly better than anything else. But this was my farm channel. My Odin's Alchemy got taken down. That's where all my Odin's Alchemy show stuff was. This was just my farm channel, me doing projects and shit. So those do vastly better than anything else at this, because that was the base that followed it. Even people who didn't listen to me speak followed my farm shit and my doing off-grid shit and whatnot.
The only thing that would beat Ben Shorts is if Alan Marcus took his shirt off.
Yeah, showed
Well,
everybody.
you notice there's a lot more clavicle shown tonight. The V-neck is getting deeper.
It's fogging up my camera here.
That's part of the charm. Soft
I
focus.
tell you though, I don't know if we can get 2 Bitcoins if you're going to wear the nose ring.
That's true. Otherwise, continue being a sultry minx.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't even notice the nose ring. Wow.
Rachel
No one
did.
does because the camera is so shit.
It's
Actually, the
Yeah.
camera is fine. He purposely does that, and no, it is not his
It's not jism.
pristine,
It's not
pearly
spunk.
white, never
It's
been
not
immoral
Vaseline.
juices.
Mhm.
It could be Vaseline. He does
not
get a little bit
Vaseline.
crazy when he's trying to keep
It's not,
off.
it's
the
not the
Timmy
it's not the vaporizing rub either.
Grappler. You would not want the Timmy Grappler getting a hold of you either. You would smear it all.
Schmear it. That's another name for the Timon grapple.
Yeah,
Schmear 'em.
this is where my favorite cats come to eat. So we actually have one of them giant, like 50-pound feeders that they can just go eat out of as they want. The dogs and the cats. We used to buy separate dog and cat food, and then it's like the animals would try and foil you, and the dogs would eat the cat food, and the cats would eat the dog food. It's like, fuck it, But I have 2 cats that are like my cats. I have 3 that are like mine, but 2 of them hate every other cat, hate the other cats. So they have to have this sitting above me little feeding station, and all the peasants can eat over there. Like, that's cutest. You see her sitting up there all regal all the time.
About to be a Barry Medley over here.
She's for some weird reason sitting in my bookcase.
Regal.
every time a cat jumps up there, it looks like it's jumped on top of your head, Ben. I'm like, whoa! Oh,
It's good. It feeds the algorithm.
Occasionally, I do use my head as a springboard.
Mm-hmm.
Given I have no hair, you would not think it would give much bounce, but
cats love it.
it makes me mad. I'm like, and occasionally, especially the younger ones who actually have their claws out and climb up your arm, you're like, you some bitch.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you end up with crap like this. You're like, you son of a bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I heard that if you raise chickens around cats, they put out like a protein or a hormone in their eggs. It's like immunizes the baby chick that is going to develop to cat allergens. So if you take those eggs and you feed them to your own cat, then it stops that allergen that they produce. That's what like allergy food, the expensive food that you buy for cats. If you have a cat allergy, you buy this expensive food. It comes from chickens that have been raised around cats. It also works with dogs, I guess, too.
That would be my chickens and ducks. And the other thing is, if you raise them around them, they don't go after them either.
Yeah, that's a good. Ducks, it doesn't work with ducks, but dogs, you can, if you're allergic to dogs, chickens being raised around dogs will create that dog hormone.
It's from the dander, the animal dander.
Something
that causes the allergies in the humans.
Yeah, but I mean, they sell that food, like cat food. It's like 50, 60, 70 bucks for a little bag. And they just powder those eggs up and dust it on regular cat kibble. It might be
both my chickens and my cats like hanging out underneath my medical garden. Shit, you're not like so they're always together. Like there's little pits around each of the plants where they like just hang out. You're like, dickheads.
I think weed loves cat pee.
It must,
anyway, because my cats always like going in there. I chase them out, but plants liked it.
It must. I mean, human pee, anyways, is super good for plants.
Urea, myria.
Yeah, it's and we convert nitrogen, and it's bioavailable for the plants.
Oh, that makes sense.
See, this one's my personal cat too. This is Matcha. You guys, when she was little, she's the one who used to sit on my shoulder and play with my beard while I was on the shows. And Rose was like, "You got to quit having that cat on there. I can't even hear what you're saying. It's so distracting." Because I'm just paying attention to that kitten. And freaking, but Matcha doesn't hate all the other cats. Cutis and Sage. Sage is almost never in here. Sage really hates the other cat. She sits there and hisses the whole time she's in here. And then she leaves. She just comes in to get food or have babies.
To get babies? To have what was the last thing you said?
To have babies.
Oh, okay. To birth them. I see.
Yeah, our damn vet fucking retired, and then they couldn't never find another vet to take over. So we don't even have a vet anywhere near us. Like all the vet stuff, like I had an alpaca that broke her leg like 3 weeks ago, and I drove to the vet 4 hours away and got some stuff. And what I ended up doing was taking a piece of PVC about as big as her. See, it wouldn't have worked with me because I got my forearm's much larger than my wrist, but unlike Andrew Wilson, but with their legs, it's basically the same size. So I wrapped it with gauze really nicely, and then took this piece of PVC and put it over it and straightened it out, and then took that like sport wrap and it forced it to be like that. And then I left a little extra nub on the bottom of the PVC so she can walk on that without putting pressure onto the bone. But I had to do all that, and Brian and I had to go do that by ourselves. And why am I so mean? What was I being mean about?
He just told a story of how he created a cast for an animal that was struggling to walk.
Oh, don't pay attention to Jordan. He's on our team. He's just fucking around. He'll do that. He's a lawyer. He'll throw some weird shit at you. And he's Polish, so it'll probably be spelled wrong.
Yeah, Cutis is sitting over here in my bookcase for no apparent reason. I don't know what. Somebody that she don't like must have been up on top of the bookcase up there. So she's sitting over here, the one that usually sits right there.
It's weird, but when you spin to the left like that, it almost looks like there's a cat shadow above you. The way that your hat and your head kind of like the light and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it looks like there's a shadow cat just kind of resting on top of you.
Oh, fuck. Dude, when I wake up at night, it's crazy. Like there's times I'll wake up and there'll literally be like 20 cats and they're all staring at me. And I like wake up like I'm like, am I in some kind of ritual or something? Because they'll sit in like a circle around me, and you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like,
We've entered the cat zone.
It is the cat zone. Like the catwalk, the runway, the Fashion Week in New York. Yes, there's some interesting designs. A lot of beige and black and white and leather. You know, it's the fall line, so it's not going to be too spectacular.
Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
New York Fashion Week.
Read the room.
How's the fit?
I feel like next week my fashion's going to be a bearskin pelt.
Right. Oh, if you can keep luring them in with the freaking fruit trees, yeah.
Oh, dude, when I make the mead and you have to make apple cider and to make apple you have to make apple Kaiser in order to make apple cider vinegar. And fucking when I'm making the first step of it and squishing all the apples, I'm not even kidding. The last year when I did that, there was all kinds of bear prints just staring down at me from above right up here. Like we saw all the prints, like they're just sitting there like, oh motherfucker, oh I want to come eat your apples. Like, oh man. And your chickens.
The brown bears?
Huh?
Brown bears?
Black.
Okay.
Black.
I wasn't gonna ask, but I thought that was the answer.
Yeah, I took my bicycle and my chickens.
But it'd be rare to see polar bears, you know, down there, wouldn't it?
Pretty rare.
Penguins,
Pretty
polar
rare.
bears, seals. You're in kind of in your own microclimate there. You don't get a lot of seagulls overhead, pigeons.
No, I don't think I've ever seen a seagull out here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not quite that close to the ocean. Like as the crow flies, we're not very far away, but it's a mountain range, you know, that's in between us. So like that range is called the King Range. It's crazy steep and a very high mountain range. Like the drive down in, there's a city at the bottom of it called Shelter Cove. And the road down to Shelter Cove is kind of niche famous because you cook your brakes going down that. You literally, it's the first time in my life it says all vehicles low gear. Like you put your vehicle in first and pray that your brakes hold till the bottom.
Could you put some sort of ski lift there, some sort of handicap accessibility?
No.
There's just a
huge
No, but
cliff.
they do have a garage at the bottom of the road.
So I
and one at
did
the
I-
top too.
did I tell you I went to go visit the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi?
Oh, good on you.
At a state park, and I took the long way to hike there. And once I got there, it was like, oh, okay. I thought that maybe it was just some white guy elaborate joke to say the headwaters of the Mississippi, and it's just like an outhouse. I figured that would be some funny Minnesota humor. So I took the long way, and I finally got there, and then I saw just all these people. I'm like, where did all these people come from? All these people. I never saw them on the trail, never saw them until I realized they put the parking lot right next to it. Then they put the gift shop right next to it. Then they put the restaurant and the cafe right next to the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi. So you can get off the big major thoroughfare there, get in the parking lot, and then immediately have access to bathroom and food and the thing that you wanted to see. So no real hiking is necessary. So you get a lot of people with walkers and wheelchairs and older folks with their families trying to get family pictures. And I'm like, well, you made this headwaters of the Mississippi so easily accessible with a gift shop, with a bathroom, with handicap parking. And what is the challenge to even get here? And then I realized, well, this is how they make all their money. If it's hard to do, no one's going to do it. But if you make it easy and then make it easy to take their money and accept credit cards, there you go.
100%.
That's how you make money and get people to go to the headwaters of the mighty Mississippi. And then they can take their shoes off and put their little toes in the water and wiggle around. They can take all sorts of pictures, great opportunity. But I took the long, hard way to get there, and I felt like it was rewarding to me. But all these other people,
Yeah, but you cut down your clientele substantially, and including the ones that have money, because young people don't
Yep.
have money.
that's true. They also
And
don't
all
have
those-
parking spots that are handicap accessible because they don't have cars. So they're all riding with grandma and grandpa in the old sedan, piling into vehicles to go to this event to take pictures together.
Yeah, I think the bear did ride the bike. He's a smart ass bear. Actually, I'm pretty sure the bear that's bothering us right now was just born this spring. It's not real big. It's probably like twice as big as my dog's is all. It was big enough to where it was on top of my chicken coop and I'm not talking about the hard part the chickens sleep in. I also have a run, because there are occasions where I don't get up or something's going on and I can't be there in the morning to let the chickens out. So I have a really well hard done fence with 4x4s around the whole chicken run, so they still at least have someplace outside to be, even if am not able to let him out right away. And he was on top of that and didn't collapse the chicken coop. Licky had him up there. Licky was pissed. He's Licky Bear Fighter now.
I did describe the hike up to Itasca as long and hard. Yeah, I did. I didn't want to say grueling or open a thesaurus, find other words to describe the stamina required to make such a long hike.
Oh shit! I don't know if anybody even put my ducks up or anything. I gotta go look. Christy was so early and she was in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on, gentlemen. I gotta go make sure my fucking animals are put
That's
up.
hashtag farm life.
Good idea.
Ouch! Fucking cat. You can
We're
add
just-
that
we're
one.
just-
You can add that one to the animal cussing montage.
Yeah, that's why we were quiet for that moment. We knew something was about to be clipped.
there's a oh, Brian says no waste of time. Brian took care of it. Thank you, sir. I didn't hear Brian say that he did beforehand. Thank you very much. I just had a little panic moment just now.
It's important. Those ducks are very important.
Yeah, no, my lights don't go out. We're trying to, I live off grid, so we go off of as small a generator as possible most of the time, because
Mhm.
it's shocking how much like I've got 6,000 or 7,000 something like that watt Honda, and that we only run that when we want to do laundry, and we can run other lights and whatnot, but most of the time any light you're seeing is coming from this. And this is during the day. We recharge the shit out of these DeWalt batteries, and we've got a number of these large lights. This one's my favorite because this one I can literally see like 100 yards or better down in the cow pen. And like the other night when that bear was on the chicken coop, I stepped out because I heard Licky was being real incessant with his barking, and he's not usually that bad. And I stuck my head out to see what was going on. And then immediately I saw the eyes on the chicken coop, and that bear looked at me and was like, oh shit, and jumped off and then took off running, and Licky chased him off. Came back with a nice little gouge on his head. I was like, it probably was from the woods, but we'll pretend like you got it from the bear. So we'll tell
Right.
the girls.
A little tough guy.
Yeah.
Tough animals.
You're fucking little pussy ass fucking I hate everybody fucking yeah. No.
Well, I was
You
just
don't
saying,
hate Steve, which is hilarious. Like Steve was here during the transition period and took Gomez, his brother, but I was kind of shocked because Licky hates everybody but Brian there and me and Christy. Like, fuck everybody else. You don't belong here. He won't attack you, but he will be aggressive, obnoxious to a degree you've never seen. Like, gets inches from you and just like, until you leave. And Steve came back after not seeing him for like a year and a half, and Licky's like, "What's up, bro?" Like,
I was just suggesting that living in California, making the trek from Shelter Cove up the steep cliffs of the Kings Mountains, make it a little more accessible to different bodies and able-bodied people. Putting in some ramps and things, elevators, a lot more people could have access to it.
No, Shelter Cove needs to stay there. It's where you get sent from Santa Cruz County when you fuck up too much in Santa Cruz County. And we're like, you just go on up to Shelter Cove for a couple of years and to figure some shit out. If you can survive, then you can come back. But, go do that.
I do gotta admit that maybe if Licky didn't even know Steve, he immediately realized that Steve was no threat after taking a dab and then immediately collapsing into
I went out like a
pile of
fucking
pudding.
newborn gazelle.
That's willing submission.
I did. I was a fainting goat. Yeah.
And the best part wasn't just him passing out. The best part was 2 hours later, him sitting bolt upright and going, "Oh shit, did I pass out? I'm sorry, y'all." Walking over, taking a dab, and then turning into a pile of pudding again. You're like, you went for the double down.
That was a long trip.
Some good pudding.
I had a similar experience in Vegas when I first got there, and
Yeah, what
Ben was
happened?
smoking these big dabs. I'm like, "Give me one, give me a big one." He's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." Took one, and then I was like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." And the bathroom was like 25 feet away, and I got lost going to the bathroom. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like hanging onto the wall. People were walking in around me. I was like, "They know, they know." I had to get led back to the van. And I was like, "I gotta take a nap."
Rachel comes over and apologized to us. She's like, "Yeah, after that dab, Jim needs to sleep."
It was a long drive. You needed the rest. It was a
It
good
was a long drive.
facilitator of the restful process.
I do warn people, like Jim said, though. I didn't warn Steve. Steve should have known better.
I was out of practice, but I also knew better, and I was trying to get fucked up. And I was very happy to drool in a chair for a couple hours and then like another hour more. That was right what I needed in that moment. It had been a bad day. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when he doubled down, you knew it was on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, people get that reaction. My freaking the hardest one I've still seen is Amanda Vollmer. And she walked into a situation where everybody else in the situation had figured out that they should share. Like 5 people would take off one hit and share amongst themselves. And she walks in and she goes to do the gym, and I was like, "Don't do that." And she thought I was doing the, "Oh no, little lady, you need to be," like, and I was like, "No, I'm just being real here." And fucking holy smoke. And then in Vegas, her husband goes to go grab one, and she fucking all of a sudden, out of magic nowhere, her hand appears like a giant shield. And she's like, "Not his. No. I need you later." No. Hey.
She's never been the same since.
She hasn't. He didn't get to try it. She literally would not let him try it. She's like, "Not his. You can take anybody else's, not his." Hurt yourself.
Yeah, that was a mean dab. It was good. I'm still not drinking my own pee, but I got pretty messed up.
No, dude, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you should. Yeah, there's no point in your dabbing history should you ever just kind of like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna just take a nice big old gulp of my own piss." Like, it's just not a thought that you should have.
We do need more public confessions of people exclaiming that they are in fact not eating their own waste products of any kind.
Actually, there's a meme that was going around for a while, and it was like, "Thank you for not," and then it had Topher Gardner, and it said, "Not you, drinking your pee." And I was one of the faces in that, like, like of the bigger speakers that don't drink their pee. Like, no, that's you know what? If you get cotton mouth that bad, you can always water is good, not water that you've previously already drank and then had
Right.
it go through and take the toxins out of your body and then concentrate them into a thing.
Unless you're Bear Grylls and you're getting paid $250,000 a fucking episode to drink your own pee, you probably shouldn't.
And didn't that guy fall out of a helicopter and his chute fail and live?
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, what I watched,
Like
TV.
fell like 1,500 feet or something and lived through it. Like
Lived through to continue to drink his own
give
urine.
that to him. That guy can
Right?
drink his pee.
Yeah,
That's cool,
of course.
fine.
Is that
Yeah,
a side effect of falling
all
out and fucking your parachute failing? Is that you come to and you're like, you know what I need? My own urine.
Well, my thought was I need my own Dune still suit to convert my own waters back into drinkable water.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is fair. Why don't we have still suits?
Well, they kind of do. The big cities take that sewage and refine it,
Mm-hmm.
and people drink it. You know,
San Francisco has a freaking poo-based water supply, or it's like all sewer. Yeah, I don't know why.
Everywhere around San Francisco. Everywhere.
Dude.
It's to get that the hormones from the birth control pills into the population faster,
Right.
probably.
Right?
That's why I'm still such an ornery cuss, because I drink water that springs up out of the mountain.
That hasn't been bottled by Nestle and sold back to you.
No, I got a little screen at the top that filters out most of the gunk.
Every 10 feet under the ground, it purifies itself, doesn't it? Or is it 50 feet? I forget. But
I don't know. It
heard
bubbles
that.
up out the side of the mountain, and I put a little filter on a hose, and then it just catches it and filters out most of the gunk, and the rest goes into the tank up there.
It's probably delicious. Is it soft water or hard water?
What kind of water do you like?
We don't get a buildup, but it's definitely not soft water. You don't feel
You just
slimy.
got to spit on it a couple of times before it gets hard.
I'm getting old.
It's
Yeah,
not
it don't
rusty.
go off like it used to. You got to put some effort into it.
Get that midstream water. Urea.
Myria, urea,
Mhm.
everybody's Rhea.
You get that
So,
berry urea?
just in the last couple hours, gentlemen, a landmark deal
Ooh,
was
landmark.
achieved, and let's see, Larry
Alan
Ellison.
Taylor's now head of the Senate.
No, Larry Ellison, who owned Oracle, owns Oracle,
Oh, yeah.
the CIA contracting spyware company, Oracle.
Yeah.
Who also just recently acquired Paramount Studios, who is looking to purchase Warner Brothers Studios, just became part owner at an 80% stake with Silver Lake and Andreessen Horowitz Capital, and they're now in charge of American TikTok.
Ah,
So
American TikTok.
it's a complete rebuild. US users will have to download a new app that looks identical to the current TikTok, but runs entirely on Oracle-based and Andreessen Horowitz capital-funded coded infrastructure with
So it's not
US-controlled
TikTok.
algorithms. ByteDance, who own TikTok, is going to license the technology, but they gave up operational control. So after almost a year of Trump administration trying to maneuver TikTok and ByteDance and their Chinese-based ownership into giving up that entity to the U.S., the exact same guy Donald Trump tapped for mRNA vaccines for all Stargate is now in charge of one of the largest social media apps and the one that goes to all of the kids just as Turning Point to USA is being more and more heavily influenced by entities who also represent the same ideological viewpoint that Larry Ellison does. Very, very, very interesting development in about a week.
Sounds like a turning point.
Doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The jack
talking
is
about
coming. The jackboot is coming, and not only is it coming, they're gonna cheer and flop on their bellies, flop on their backs, piss on their bellies while they expose their own throats.
MAGA talk.
That's what's coming. And then the scariest part is then the thing is in that zealot fervor, other people who aren't of the extreme left are also going to get swept up into that, because that type of thing turns into a vacuum where they need to keep sucking in more and more. And so the people that are just like myself, who's not a conservative Christian, but literally probably what would you say, Steve? Like 70% of my views are fairly conservative,
Probably
or on that bent.
More than that, maybe up to 85% of it.
Yeah, where you would necessarily probably usually have considered me a conservative, but because I'm out of those bounds and fringe, it's all bad. It's the uniparty thing. They're going to collapse the Democratic Party over this whole deal.
No, they're going to hand it right over to Gavin Newsom and the entire dictator's toolkit that has been built up over the last, I don't know, what, we're 249 years, is going to get handed to him. The Democrats aren't going anywhere. They might stamp out some of the more like fringe elements of it, but the institution of the Democratic Party, they're right in line with Trump on pretty much everything. Definitely all of the foreign war stuff.
Old school Democrats, but
they don't exist anymore.
The newer progressives are too far out of line. They're the bait to get people to want to go. I mean, even when you look at it, like the Christian movement, that it's so heavily male and so heavily orthodox, and it's because people can't take how wild shit's gotten. These are literally the people that wanted to give back Prometheus's fire. They're like, no, I need rules, and I need somebody giving them to me, and I need to not think on my own, because obviously thinking on our own is not a good thing.
You remember that application called Red Note from China?
No.
It was like Elon Musk had decided he was going to purchase Twitter, and he threatened to purchase it. And then, oh my gosh, he actually purchased it. And people were trying out this new application from China called Red Note. It was just a social media thing. You post stuff to it. And the Americans were the minority because it was a Chinese operation. It opened up to America, and the Americans were learning to use translation software and things to communicate with the Chinese. And Chinese were showing how wonderful of a culture they had, and the science they had, and the technology, and the cars they had, and everything they had was just very good, very interesting. And a lot of Americans were getting health advice from the Chinese, dietary advice from and the Chinese were they were like, Americans don't know how bad, they don't know how bad they have it. And the Chinese felt such empathy for poor Americans who had just found their app and were politely asking for help on it. And the Chinese were pouring out overwhelming support for the Americans. And then they took the Red Note app away.
I want to leave this comment up just for a moment as I bring something up on screen.
It's Piers Morgan?
Well, no, it's Trump, because, Great White Pope says the Democrats are for British monarchy rule, not understanding that it's the Anglo-American establishment, which is what it has been for a couple of hundred years. But I wouldn't assume that Great White Pope would be up on any of that yet. And look, dude, I'm no fan of the duopoly at all. It's just funny as shit to me that you would single out the British monarchy rule and the Democrats as Trump is literally landing in England to be received by King Charles at Windsor Castle. There's people who did get arrested for dragging out a giant tarp across the field where he would be flying over. That was Donald Trump
Epstein.
standing with his good friend Jeffrey Epstein.
I
But
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, it's just I never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. Thank you, Great White Pope. I appreciate you. I do. You've reminded me.
And yes, I know how to blow BHO diamonds, but
Yeah.
yes, I did say 70%. These guys said think 80ish. Like I said, I'm not entirely a conservative.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to explore.
Hey man, look, dude, if you're King Turd of Shit Mountain, I guess you can, but that guy's a puppet who bows to fucking the Chabad at every turn. Every single turn. He's raising his grandkids Orthodox Jewish. I don't know what the fuck, like, what fantasy world you're in, little faggot, but it's a fucking desperate one.
I don't know what progressive views that we could explore to see if any of
I
us
would
hold
disagree
them.
with Steve though on the Anglo part, because funny how all the upper echelon.
That's what it's called,
people.
going back for, Anglo-American.
Well, it might be called that, but that's because the small hats are good at hiding their hiding in places, because somehow they're all related to small hat people. We all know that for a fact. A little girl proved that they're all inner bloodline related. That's because they're all small hats. There ain't no Anglos amongst them people.
Even if one of them is a half Scottish anchor baby, like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is hilarious to me that Trump is an anchor baby, technically. It's what allowed his mom to have U.S. citizenship.
It's an American dream. New York, baby.
I'm only 3 generations out from Germany, so I don't ever have shit to say about it. Like my family was, and my Scottish family wasn't allowed to buy land over here. That's how come my mom's maiden name got changed, and it used to be a different name entirely, but that name wasn't allowed to own land. So then they bought a farm and took on the last name of the owners of that farm and became that family.
2 generations out from Finland. Although on my mom's side, but they were out of Texas and Tennessee.
I wonder
if we had ever gotten the reparations debate, that would have been one of my statements. You guys make this generalization of white people, and a substantial portion of us also migrated long after the Civil War. Like our people lived in an entirely different spot.
What are the acceptable progressive views today? I mean, we hear a lot about owning liberals, but I haven't heard any of the progressive views. I thought that was like pushing for more equality. Is that what it is?
The other side is obviously Israel. Is your big poison pill. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of other views that are, also horrible, but the overwhelming giant one, if you go to the right, you have to swallow the Israel poison pill. If you go to the left, you got to swallow the LGBTQ, all that kind of nonsense, that pill. Each side has something that should just be intolerable to any normal person.
Mm-hmm.
The global warming.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to buy into all that.
Years ago.
Ice melting, penguins suffering, polar bears sweating.
Even though that guy quietly got sued in Canada and couldn't produce the evidence to prove his hockey stick model, and couldn't come up with the evidence to prove it, and lost a major court case over that. That just, good luck finding that. You got to dig and dig.
What's the difference between an Anglo and a Caucasian?
The climate
about
change,
an inch and a half. I think.
Okay.
The climate change narrative originally based around this guy who made a climate model that they called the hockey stick model, because literally it was, you know, like a baseline and then it went rip like that, like a hockey stick. And he said that that was what was going to come. That's what all the original CO2 or the carbon activists and all that started with. And that guy was taken to court by other scientists, and he could not produce the evidence used to make that model, and lost the court case over it. And that got stuffed. That good luck finding that in the internet interwebs. They stuffed that story way down to the bottom.
Interesting. Of course, you can't prove it. It's nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, just the general understanding of anybody that spends quite a bit of time growing plants understands that plants really love CO2 rich environments, and plants produce oxygen from said CO2. So a heavier CO2 load in the atmosphere would mean that we grow plants much better, and we could maybe possibly return to the 80% of the trees on the earth have been cut down just since the technological revolution. Maybe we could get some of that back. We start getting a little CO2 heavy. In fact, that seems like that would be a cycle where the plant life goes away, the CO2 levels rise, the plant life explodes, the CO2 levels drop. Seems pretty like to make sense to me.
It got quiet. The whole global warming thing really quieted down. I guess it got eclipsed by all the trans rights and
yeah,
a live stream genocide, because they even got Greta on a flotilla going to Gaza instead of yelling at billionaires about the weather.
Was it Michael E. Mann who wrote The Hockey Stick and the Climate Wars, Dispatches from the Front Line? He had some other guys who were with him. Michael E. Mann.
What's up, Michael? And Michael's sister Nino has shown up at the exact same time as you said that.
Michael. It's almost Michael Mann.
Refused to identify as white. Yeah, I would refuse to identify as Caucasian. My people don't descend from the Caucasus Mountain region. I'm not Russian. My people don't descend from there. My people descend from Germany and Scotland. I'm not a Caucasian.
Was Kirk a Caucasian? Not the captain, the Charlie guy. Did he do a 23andMe? Was he a hereditary guy? Did he talk about race a lot? I don't know. Don't know if that was.
What does his face look like under that mask?
I mean, his eyes are like tiny, and his mouth is tiny, and his face is so big, so big.
That's where it is. Gums.
Then a regular sized jaw.
Very cartoon caricature.
The Bob's Big Boy hairdo.
Were there any Charlie Kirk NFTs that have just exploded in value now?
I know I keep up with the NFT market right alongside the New York Fashion Show.
I think you really like what Michael Kors is doing this season.
Yeah, I fit that in from my listening to Juicy Booty or whatever.
Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
And
are there any hot new farm shorts designers?
Yeah, the Carhartt line.
Ben's gonna have a pleated flannel crotch, and some little farm short Daisy Dukes,
some apple buttered jeans,
chicken stick pasty white legs.
Duluth's Trading Company.
I'm not allowed to show those. I'll wilt the plants. They get light burn.
Fucking funny. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Joe Rogan had Carrot Top on his show, and Carrot Top bombed harder than Israel in the last 72 hours. It was just terrible. Like, I've seen a couple of clips where I'm like, you said that?
More like Carrot Stop.
Dude. It's bad enough that he has like a permanent residency at the Luxor in Vegas, which is the pyramid, the Black Pyramid Hotel. Yeah, that's where Carrot Top is. It's
they spend like $100,000 a month just cleaning the bat shit off that thing.
Probably. I don't know. Vegas is for total idiots at this point because it's just they priced out their entire clientele.
Well, and took away all the benefits. Like it used to be when the first time I went to Vegas was in 2000. My oldest daughter, she won the Face of 2000 for the Little Miss of America, which is Miss America for under 18. And, they said, well, that was at Vegas that she won that, saying she was the prettiest girl in the country or whatever. Well, she had won the regionals, and that's what got her to Vegas. And when you got there, like, you felt like a king. Everything, you got 5-star meals, and some guy would come out in a chef outfit, and he'd be like, yes, my pedigree is I served the Queen of England for 2 years and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I went to school, and you're like, and you're working at a fucking casino? Yeah, and handing me food? That's wild. And your rooms cost nothing, and they really made it attractive for you to come to Vegas and hang out in order for you to blow all your money gambling. Probably blow in excess of money that you would not have ever spent on the other things they just gave you for free. And it was a brilliant package. And now when Jim and I and Marcus went to Vegas, and Steve lived there just before that, but the fucker decides to move like a month before we're supposed to be there.
Things happen.
And we get there, and we're at one of the big name hotels. And actually, I believe the station probably has the most casinos in Vegas. And you're in there, and it's literally Panda Express. TGI Fridays was their big name restaurant in the place. Like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Just garbage. And everything's super expensive. Like when my daughter and I were there, we ate for like $20, got this like phenomenal meal at Steven Spielberg's restaurant, and it was like you were sitting in a submarine and there's sharks swimming around you, and the place was wild. All that shit dead and commercialized. Corporations should be, any true politician that wants to change America, in my opinion, one of the very first things you do is you end corporations. They should be banned, outlawed, no longer a thing.
That's what America is. United States corporation.
Since 1872 or so.
Right. And we're all slaves since then.
Something like that.
It's the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, and people still think if they just vote harder or vote for the right freaking puppet, the Democrats did, the Republicans did that. You fucking just dullard.
And you gotta love how even if you don't play in the system, both sides will be like, well, it's your fault that this wrong person got in. You're like, they were both shit. What do I care? I shit sandwich or turd sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want either of these things.
What, 5 years ago or something on like that, on Slow News Day, Whitney Webb was like, look, dude, if you're offering me a shit sandwich or a shit sandwich, I really don't care what the bread is. I really don't. White bread, 12 grain artisanal. You're feeding me shit. stop feeding me shit.
100%.
Exactly right.
Be nice
know?
if these young people figure that out quickly, and then have to struggle for 20, 30 years to figure out that it's not really a good thing to wear your I voted sticker like it's a accomplishment, like you did something important.
No, you're
Yeah, like
rearranging
protesting.
piles of shit.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Makes you want to just escape somehow. Get your Fent. Get some Fent.
That doesn't mean the local elections. People who are aware of the local elections and they know the people in the community who are going on the ballots, that's a very different scenario. In general, people are proud to vote for the national federal government.
well, because those are big stars.
Big celebrities, yeah. Mhm.
Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Nobody knows. Most people don't know who their own local representative is.
You know, maybe our next president could be an athlete. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be fun to have an athlete in the office? Someone who really
Check
respects
IMDb,
sports.
see who to vote for.
Is Michael Jordan available? Let's see, passed.
He's too much heavy of a gambler.
Okay.
Kind of fell out of favor from that.
Well, that might be
This is
good in
where
his
we
favor.
normally ask Jim where we could find him and anything he wanted to add, because Marcus is wanting to cut it out. He says, I don't want to talk to you people no more. And
3 hours is a good round number.
But you aren't going to find Jim anywhere. He's taking care of Little Maiden and working his ass off. You're not going to find him anywhere. But you got anything you want to say or leave the good folks with? Let them know what you got going on, and that maybe someday in the future, 20 years from now, you'll have time to do a show again.
Check out Weaving Spiders Webs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the old Weaving Spiders channel.
Leave
Lots
some
of
comments
hours
there.
and hours and hours of great talk and interesting sound checks and stuff you'll never see anywhere else.
You'll probably never
Enjoy.
see it again. It's very
Subscribe
wholly
when you're
original.
there. We might be back at some point for something. Got a few things up my sleeve.
Look for that in 2040.
Been
Time
chasing a
passes
baby
quickly.
around lately.
Mhm.
A 10-and-a-half-month-old kid. Just
Well, I know
Pushing
they get
teeth
much
out.
easier as they get older, Jim.
yeah. He's getting pretty easy. Yeah. Yesterday or 2 days ago, he got up before me and Rachel, and he was just like cruising around. And then we heard it quiet. And Rachel went in, and he's elbows deep in the toilet, splashing around with his big old shit-eating grin on his face.
It's okay. It's only the first like 30 years that are the hard ones. After that, it kind of like evens out a little bit.
Slopes off a bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of grim.
Yeah.
You're saying they're not expected to live that long.
No, I'm saying it's the first 30 years of parenthood that are the most difficult. After that,
Oh,
there's
okay.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't put them out of the misery early, they have a longer expectancy, is what you're saying?
I mean, that's typically everything, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, my 33-year-old. Dun, dun, dun. she's wonderful to be around. Wonderful.
Well, that's
The
nice.
ones-
Something to
The
look
younger
forward to.
ones.
Yeah, it's a joy. And I'm building a business right now. I've got a business, but I'm expanding, and I've been building a new building for the last how long's it been? 13
A
months, 14
long
months.
ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
deciding to
been-
start. Yeah.
13 months. Yeah, 13.
Just poured
Again.
concrete on Friday, and I went to go shake the concrete driver's hand, and he jumps out of the truck and runs up, and the first thing he said is, "They caught the guy! They caught the guy!" And I was like, oh, well, cool.
Great.
Right
All
on.
right.
Good for them. Then
Yeah.
Do I get a
Just
free?
totally-
Do I get a free load of concrete?
is that the Boston
Totally
Bomber?
saturated.
They found the Boston Bomber.
Well, who would you
Who was
think?
it?
The guy. They caught the guy.
Got
They
the
just
guy.
caught him.
Which time?
Donald Rumsfeld. Dick
We'll
Cheney.
get late for that one. We'll wait.
Wait, Epstein?
I just said, my name's Jim. Nice to meet you. Got some holes here. Need some concrete in them. Got my phone out to take pictures.
Heck yeah.
It's taking extra long because when Jim is done, what you're going to find out is he is actually the sacred metalsmith of the gods, and that he will be forging actual weapons with mystical abilities. And,
Yep,
and you can't
building
do
the
that in
bronze
this big,
foundry.
crappy place.
Gonna cast bronze in the bronze foundry. Should be pretty soon. I've been like 6 weeks away for the last 14 months, and it's gonna. I think the plan is to get it. I mean, I want to get it done by the end of this month. So hopefully, definitely can't have another birthday. Definitely gotta be finished before Halloween for sure. Hopefully, the beginning of October, but. Lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff
Heck
to
yeah,
do.
man. Congratulations and
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
much success.
Thank you.
Gonna make
Yeah,
some
I appreciate it.
first forged trinkets and tchotchkes to sell to all the Kickstarter supporters who've been along the journey all the way, and charge them twice the price because it's the first one.
You can have a 3D
Remember to-
printed representation of Alan's clavicle.
I hope so.
Make a good dish, I think.
Yeah.
As long as he takes his shirt off first.
Give you a little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer action.
Ugly Christmas sweater.
It is the fashion this winter.
That's what I
Mhm.
hear. That's what I hear.
Little reindeer nose, just a little one. Don't set any great expectations for the size of the nose.
Yeah, well, we know it's not the nose that the ladies are after. Is that reindeer? It's not the reindeer nose. It's the fire hose.
It's the moose
And
knuckle.
we know we realize you're low key packing a donkey going on down there.
Subtly
Fuck, that's
hefting
going
around
up
a
like
hammer.
Cody's tongue.
Just waiting for the price discovery.
That's why the 2 Bitcoin price, ladies. That's why
Right.
the 2 Bitcoin price.
Right.
Not only is he pure, he is like the golden rod of the gods.
Get into the ground floor because the price is only going up.
It's
Only
true.
going up.
It's true. Half a Bitcoin to buy in.
Mhm.
Let us know you're serious. Bidding starts at 2 Bitcoin, and it only goes up from there.
Unless you have some of
And
those
no,
Charlie
your half
Kirk
Bitcoin
NFTs.
buy-in does not count towards your 2 Bitcoin minimum. No,
You cannot
No,
pay
it
in
doesn't.
Charlie
Sorry.
Kirk
It's a
NFTs.
separate transaction.
Not really interested in those ape cartoon NFTs, just the rare Pepes and the Charlie Kirks.
You
All
cannot
right.
pay in NFTs. Don't listen to him.
All right. I did see what looked to be a potential NFT of Charlie Kirk hugging the Ukrainian girl on the bus.
Oh my God.
Oh, buddy, I'm not okay. Sometimes people think I talk just to hear the sound of me. No, ain't even like that. I will prove this.
It's a real thing.
It's again, I don't know if it's an NFT, but it should be.
Mhm.
It should be.
Should be minted
Yeah.
fresh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, that's the thumbnail for the show. That's gonna go click some viewers. Strike a power pose for the camera. We'll get a still shot of it.
That is a power pose. And
When
his
I
hair's
tell
perfect.
people that we live in a freaking cartoon, that's kind of why. That's why.
Good. But the thing is this is And I'm not saying this to minimize what happened to him, but part of the reason that the mythological figures of old became mythological figures, and it seemed like they were doing inhuman things because they all die young. All the greatest heroes die young. You know what happens when you get old? You get constipated, you limp around, you complain when you get up. All old people are basically the fucking same. It happens to all of us. If you die young and for your cause and you're martyred, you become a legend. And that's literally what's happening to this guy. They're already bandying him about as a complete martyr for the cause. Never mind that they're twisting the cause and going to go after free speech, which he was really a staunch upholder of, saying that even speech you don't like needs to be left alone because that, you know, at some point the power dynamic's going to switch and the people who don't like your speech are going to be in power. And so you just got to leave that shit alone. He was very well spoken about that, but he's going to become an icon. And instead, if he hadn't done this, he was just going to end up becoming an old, irrelevant man at some point anyways.
They're going to build a cathedral on top of his bones.
Yeah.
All right,
The new
kids.
conservative cathedral.
Well, I got to dip out, so I'm going to do that.
See you guys
Cool.
next week.
Dip
Love
out
you
with
guys.
you. It's been a
See you
long
next week, kids.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
James.
coming on, Jim. We always love having Jim on.
Always